Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly. Success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation a student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation classroom course, including AIR 5 Nishan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance, and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept-first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m., 30th March at 8 a.m. and 7th April at 11 a.m. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 a.m. and 25th March at 6 p.m. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers.
यूपीएससी 2027 का लक्ष्य जितना बड़ा है उसे पाने की योजना भी उतनी ही स्पष्ट और संगठित होनी चाहिए। विजन आईएएस लेकर आया है क्लासरूम फाउंडेशन कोर्स 2027 के 12 से 14 महीनों का एक ऐसा सुव्यवस्थित कार्यक्रम है जहां आपकी तैयारी एक अनुशासित और वैज्ञानिक ढांचे में आगे बढ़ती है। यहाँ क्लासरूम लर्निंग के साथ साथ आपको मिलता है लाइव और रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस का विकल्प, जिसे आप अपने व्यक्तिगत ऑनलाइन पोर्टल के माध्यम से कभी भी और कहीं भी एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। तैयारी के सफर को और भी प्रभावी बनाती है हमारी व्यक्तिगत क्लासरूम मेंटरिंग। हमारे एक्सपर्ट मेंटर्स नियमित मार्गदर्शन और स्मार्ट स्टडी मैनेजमेंट के जरिए आपकी तैयारी को एक सही दिशा और गति प्रदान करते हैं। शैक्षणिक दृष्टिकोण से देखें तो ये कोर्स मुख्य परीक्षा के सामान्य अध्ययन के चारों प्रश्न पत्रों, सीसेट और निबंध का व्यापक कवरेज सुनिश्चित करता है। विषयों की समसामयिक समझ विकसित करने के लिए मासिक करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन और रिवीजन क्लासेस के साथ साथ PT 365 और मेंस 365 की विशेष कक्षाएं भी इस कार्यक्रम का अनिवार्य हिस्सा हैं, ताकि स्टैटिक और करंट अफेयर्स के बीच एक सटीक संतुलन बना रहे। तैयारी की गहराई मापने के लिए निरंतर अभ्यास अनिवार्य है, इसलिए डेली असाइनमेंट्स और साप्ताहिक मिनी टेस्ट के साथ साथ मासिक प्रीलिम्स और मेंस टेस्ट के माध्यम से आपकी प्रगति का निरंतर आकलन किया जाता है। इस कार्यक्रम की शक्ति है हमारी प्रतिष्ठित ऑल इंडिया टेस्ट सीरीज, जिसमें प्रीलिम्स के 35, मेंस के 30, सीसेट के 25 और निबंध के 5 टेस्ट का समावेश है। साथ ही संधान पोर्टल पर 25,000 से अधिक प्रश्नों का विशाल संग्रह आपके अभ्यास और विश्लेषण को और भी सुदृढ़ बनाता है। अब समय है अपनी मेहनत को एक मजबूत, संरचित और निरंतर प्रक्रिया में ढालने का। विजन आईएएस के साथ जुड़े और यूपीएससी 2027 की अपनी सफलता की राह को एक स्पष्ट दिशा दें।
UPSC Prelims is not the destination, it's the first crucial step. And clearing this step requires more than hard work. It demands the right strategy. Vision IAS All India GS Prelims Test Series 2027 with Sandhan is designed to give you that edge from the very beginning. With 35 structured tests, build your journey from fundamentals to full-length tests, ensuring clear, step-by-step progression. With Sandhan, personalized practice, you get more than 25,000 questions targeting your weak areas. Every test becomes a step toward measurable improvement. With smart analysis plus mentoring gain, get precise insights into your mistakes and refine your strategy with expert guidance. With quick revision material, QRM, focus on revising what truly matters exactly when you need it the most. Starting from 19th April, ensure you don't just attempt Prelims 2027, you prepare to clear it. To register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. All India GS Mains Test Series and Mentoring Program 2027, not just a test series, a system designed to improve how you write. For Mains 2027, what matters is not how much you know, but how effectively you present it on paper. And that's exactly what this program builds. Write regularly, get evaluated with precision, understand your mistakes, improve with clear mentorship. So with every test, your answers become more structured, more relevant, more impactful. This is where preparation turns into performance. Start early, improve consistently. Be ready for Mains 2027. To know more, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Are you ready to face prelims head-on? Because prelims is not just about knowledge, it's about performance under pressure. That's where Abhyas, the All India Prelims, GS plus CSAT mock test comes in. Designed as a true exam simulation, Abhyas recreates the real UPSC. Prelims experience the same pattern, the same time constraints, and the same intensity. It places you in a national arena, competing with aspirants across India, backed by an all-India ranking that reveals your true standing. Attempted by 1 in 3 top 50 rankers, Abhyas has become a trusted benchmark for serious aspirants. With detailed post-test analysis, live discussions, and complete syllabus coverage in both English and Hindi, it ensures your preparation is not just extensive but exam-ready. 3 full-length offline simulations will be conducted across 100+ cities on 5th April, 19th April, and 10th May, from 9:30 am to 11:30 am for General Studies, that is Paper 1, and 2:30 pm to 4:30 pm for CSAT, that's Paper 2. Challenge your preparation, test your performance. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers.
So very good morning to all of you. I hope you're all doing good. Yes. So let's start. We had completed few questions yesterday, few themes yesterday. Now we are going to continue with that. But before I start with the session, today I will be just taking up, just to give you the information, that I will be taking up the Buddhism, Jainism topics which could come, which are very, very important from prelims point of view, as well as I'll take up certain modern Indian history themes, right? So before I venture into that, let me first clarify that there has been a question which I discussed yesterday on Parantak 1, right? And here I told you that he earned the epithet Madurai Konda after capturing the Pandya capital Madurai as wrong. No, this is right, right? So the answer is 1 and 2. Third statement is wrong because he did not commission Brihadeshwar temple at Thanjavur. Who commissioned it? Raja Rajavan, right? So isliye 1 and 2 is the answer. Even in the content which I had given, there also, this is what has been mentioned, that he has been given this title of Madurai Konda. Why did he get this title? After winning Madurai from the Pandyas, right? I think yesterday I told that he got this Madurai Konda because he defeated Rashtrakuta, something like that. So, you can ठीक कर सकते हो. Parantak 1 has got this title, Madurai Konda, after taking the Madurai from the Pandyan dynasty, right? Now let's start with Buddhism, Jainism questions, which we have to take today, right? I'm taking the discussion from the PDF which has already been shared with you, right, as part 1 PDF. And today's PDF will also be shared with you, right? So these are the themes which we have picked up with respect to Buddhism and Jainism, purely on the basis of, now you must have got the idea that we are picking up the themes which have been asked by UPSC in the PYQs, right? So these are those themes which are very, very important from the perspective of Buddhism and Jainism. However, Buddhist councils have not yet been asked for a very long time, but there is a high probability that you can get a question on Buddhist councils as well, right? Philosophy pe aata hai, architecture pe aata है, paintings पे आता है, cultural contributions पे आता है, sects पे आता है, right? So all of that is what we will be taking up with respect to Buddhism and Jainism, right? So let's take up this first question of Buddhism, Jainism. Councils, right? The first council, Ajatashatru, Rajgriha. Third Buddhist council, Ashok, Vaishali. Fourth Buddhist council, Kanishk, Kashmir. अब इसमें से क्या है जो wrong लग रहा है आपको? Second wala. Why? Third Buddhist council was patronized by Ashok, but it did not happen at Vaishali, it happened at Patliputra, right? ठीक है, very nice. So only 2 is the right answer. Let me give you an acronym as to how you have to remember this, ठीक है? So that once and for all, this is getting set in your mind, right? So I hope this is very, very clear that the first Buddhist council happened after the death of Buddha, right? It happened at Rajgriha. So where is the place? And place से आपको याद रखना है restaurant, right? What will you remember? Restaurant, right? तो जब आप restaurant में जाते हो, when you go to the restaurant, right? So you will order what? Rava. Do you know what is rava? Suji, right? तो रवा आप हमेशा पका हुआ खाओगे, है ना? So when you are going to a place or a restaurant, you will order rava paka, right? So the first 4 Buddhist councils happened at Rajgriha, specifically Satapani cave, Vishali, that makes it to Rava, and Patliputra, Kundalwan monastery or Kashmir is Paka, right? So this is how you will remember the places at which the 4 Buddhist councils happened. Rava, Paka, right? Now, who's a patron? Patron is the one who is patronizing the council. That means the kings which have patronized the councils to happen in their reign, right? So, यहाँ पर obviously the most important king being Ashok, right? So you have to remember, this is just for remembering purpose, right? आपको ये याद रखना है कि आजकल अशोक के कान में बहुत दर्द है. क्या है? आजकल अशोक के कान में बहुत दर्द है, right? उसको कितनी सुननी पड़ रही है after convening the council, because in the council there are a lot of people who come and gather, so उसके कान में दर्द हो गया, ठीक है? आजकल अशोक के कान में दर्द है. अजात शत्रु आज, कल काल अशोक, अशोक being the third one, आजकल अशोक के कान, कनिष्क, right? So this is how you are going to remember the first 4 Buddhist councils, patron, right? Then comes your president. President मतलब the one who is chairing the council, है ना? अब इसके लिए again there is an acronym. You can make your own acronym. I'm just giving you the way to remember it, right? So have you come across, or do you know who's the daughter of Neena Gupta? She's a fashion designer, also owner Masaba, है ना? तो मसाबा को imagine करना है कि वो चेयर पे बैठी है और मोगली को वश में कर रही है, right? महाकश्यप म, सबाकमी मसाबा, मोगली पुट्टिस्सा और वश, वसुमित्र एंड अश्वघोष, वश, राइट? तो चेयर पे बैठकर मसाबा मोगली को वश में कर रही है. दैट इज अगेन द ऑर्डर इन विच यू विल रिमेंबर द फर्स्ट 4 बुद्धिस्ट काउंसिल्स, राइट? सो आफ्टर डूइंग दिस you have to remember what have been the major outcomes of the council, right? अब जब पहली council होगी, वो क्यों होगी after the death? Because while Buddha was alive, there was nothing, his teachings were not documented, nothing was written down, right? So when he died, first Buddhist council में क्या होगा? Compilation होगी, right? Compilation किसकी होगी? विनय पिटक और सुत पिटक की, right? Sut Pitak deals with discussions, discourses, Vinay, monastic code of conduct, right? तो यही तो वो discuss करेंगे ना कि teachings क्या थी और monastic code क्या था, right? और उसको वो लिखेंगे. Who will write it? It will be written or compiled by the most favorite disciples of Buddha, or the ones who were very, very close to Buddha during his lifetime, while he was delivering sermons, while he was teaching, right? So this is what will come as a result of the first Buddhist council, right? Ab jab everything is documented, you also have to remember that the second Buddhist council is happening 100 years after, right? 100 साल में कितनी changes हो जाते हैं society में, है ना? तो अब split होगा. क्यों होगा? Split होगा over the liberal use of the code of conduct for the monks. विनय पिटक में जो monastic code of conduct को follow करने के लिए whatever compilation had been done, few monks after 100 years will say that let's liberally use them because times have changed, है ना? ठीक है? So this first split will happen over the liberal use of monastic code of conduct, that is Vinay Pitak. And that will result into 2 sects, Sthaviravadins and Mahasangikas, which will later on become the offshoot for Hinayana and Mahayana. Clear? तो जो Sthaviravadins हैं वो बोलेंगे नहीं, हमें strictly monastic code of conduct को follow करना है, और Mahasangikas बोलेंगे नहीं, हमें liberally use करना है, right? This is what will happen in the second Buddhist council. First split, right? A third Buddhist council, you know, has been patronized by Ashok, right? Now what will Ashok do? The biggest contribution of Ashoka is that during his reign, the Buddhism spreads to different parts of the country as well as outside country, right? Sri Lanka mein, it will spread. He will send his son to Sri Lanka, right? और श्रीलंका से हम देखेंगे क्या? Theravadin school of Buddhism, right? Theravadins, again, a kind of Sthaviravadin, Orthodox or Hinayan school of Buddhism. But Theravadin is a word used specifically in the context of the school of Buddhism which was seen in Sri Lanka, right? Next, what will happen? Apart from the spread of Buddhism in different parts of the country as well as in Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia, we will see the compilation of Abhidhamma Pitak, because अशोक के टाइम पे फाइनल फिलॉसफी निकल कर आएगी ऑफ बुद्धिज्म. सेकेंड में क्या हुआ है, सॉरी फर्स्ट में क्या हुआ है, विनय पिटक और सूत पिटक कंपाइल हुई. अशोक के टाइम पे फाइनल फिलॉसफी विल इमर्ज एंड दैट इज अभिधम्म पिटक. ठीक है, राइट? और अभिधम्म पिटक में एक सेक्शन भी ऐड होगा जो है कथावट्टू, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट यू विल रिमेंबर, अभिधम्म पिटक. Right? Last Buddhist council mein, fourth Buddhist council, that will happen at Kundalwan monastery during the time of Kanishk, patronized by Vasumitra, attended by Ashwaghosh, who's also a Buddhist scholar. We will see the final split in two different sects gradually as Hinayan and Mahayana, right? And Buddhism will now spread to Central Asia. Right? So this is how the four Buddhist councils you have to remember. Clear? ठीक है? तो this is what you can further read through the slides. मैंने आपको समझा दिया है किस तरीके से ये four Buddhist councils और उसके outcome देखने हैं. Right? So जैसे third Buddhist council में Abhidhamma Pitak will be compiled. Right? Global missionary missions will be sent. Spread हो रहा है. Right? So all of that is what you will see. Right? Okay, now next we are seeing that we will gradually see the emergence of Hinayan and Mahayana. ये Hinayan और Mahayana है क्या? Mahayana means great vehicle, Hinayan means lesser vehicle. That does not mean Hinayan is lesser, right? It's just a differentiation which is being given by the Mahayanists who believe that Hinayan teachings are lesser vehicle, we are the greater vehicle, right? So the Hinayanists eventually will still worship Buddha in symbolic form, right? वो बुद्ध को symbols के through worship करेंगे, whereas Mahayanists will treat Buddha as God, right? So he will be worshipped in the form of idols. Right? This is the main difference. Second difference is with respect to how they treat what? The concept of salvation. Right? So Hinayan have this concept of salvation, that is Arhat. Arhat means individual salvation. Right? That the individual himself will achieve nirvana. What is nirvana? When you kill your desires, right? So this is the concept of salvation in Hinayan. Whereas in Mahayana, this salvation or nirvana is achieved through the help of Bodhisattvas. Who are Bodhisattvas? Bodhisattvas are those perfect beings who have tread the path or who have found the path to nirvana or enlightenment, but they are dealing it to help others. That means, according to Hinayanists, it is the individual effort that will lead anyone salvation. Whereas in Mahayana, this salvation could be achieved with the help of Bodhisattvas. इसीलिए इनको compassionate beings बोलते हैं. या जो salvation का concept है वो compassionate है, right? So here the goal is bodhisattvahood for all beings. Here the goal is individual arhathood. Now this individual who will achieve salvation or gain nirvana, it could take years, generations, janam after janam, birth after birth to attain it. But here thoda sa process could fasten up, right? Or Vajrayana, which is a third type of Buddhism, there the, this salvation could be achieved at a much faster pace. How? Because of Tantra and Mantra, right? So this is what you have to know. So here Buddha is considered as a teacher, human teacher, whose goal or whose personality is to teach. Whereas in Mahayana, Buddha is divine being. He is God. So he will be worshipped. Clear? Here, the main language of the teachings of Hinayan is using Pali or Prakrit. Here, the language is Sanskrit. Here, philosophy would emerge more, like Nagarjun's Shunyavad, right? Yogachar, right? Sarvastivād will be dominant here. Theravād would survive. So, Theravād मैं आपको बता चुकी हूँ. We will also do the sects, so you don't worry about that. ठीक है, तो ये मेन पॉइंट्स है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द डिफरेंस बिटवीन हीनयान एंड महायान, राइट? ओके, नाउ दिस इज द थिंग विच यू हैव टू पुट इन योर माइंड व्हाइल बुद्धिज्म जैनिज्म क्वेश्चंस वुड कम. हीनयान, नाउ यूपीएससी इज आस्किंग ब्रॉड सेक्ट अंडर हीनयानिस्ट एंड महायानिस्ट्स, राइट? तो हीनयान को स्थाविरावादिन्स और थेरावादिन type of Buddhism भी बोलते हैं, because it mainly relies on the original teachings of Buddha. It's the orthodox interpretation of Buddha teaching, original teachings, right? इसके 3 sect है, main sect. One is Sarvastivād, other one is Vibhajvad, and third is Pudgalvad, which is also known as Vatsiputriya, right? At least for examination perspective, you have to remember कि सर्वस्तिवादिन्स हीनयान्या स्थाविरावादिन सेक्ट है, विभाजवाद हीनयान्या स्थाविरावादिन सेक्ट है, पुद्गलवाद या वत्सिपुत्रिया हीनयान्या स्थाविरावादिन सेक्ट है, राइट? अब विद इन स्थाविरावादिन्स और सर्वस्तिवादिन्स यू हैव सौत्रांतिका और वैभासिका. ये आपको याद रखने हैं कि सौत्रांतिका और वैभासिका, अगेन सबसे पहले यू विल हुक योर नॉलेज फ्रॉम हियर दैट दिस इज हीनयान या स्थाविरावादिन सेक्ट, ठीक है, विच इज मेनली एम्फसाइजिंग ऑन ओरिजिनल टीचिंग्स ऑफ बुद्ध, राइट? वैभाजवाद में आप स्किप कर सकते हो, बट ये 2 नाम इंपॉर्टेंट है. दीज आर द सब सेक्ट अंडर विभाजवाद. विभाजवाद बेसिकली इज understanding teachings of Buddha through analysis, distinction, उसको विभाजवादिन्स बोलते हैं, राइट? पुद्गलवाद में है समित्या या सनाग्रिका, ये और धर्मोत्रिया, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? ठीक है, तो दिस इज व्हाट फर्स्ट यू हैव टू नो. डोंट गो इन टू द डिटेल्स. अब फिलोसफी करने का कोई टाइम नहीं है कि इसमें क्या डिफरेंस है, बट एटलीस्ट इतना पता होना चाहिए दैट सर्वस्तिवाद, विभाजवाद, पुद्गलवाद आर पार्ट ऑफ हीनयान फिलोसफी या स्थाविरावादिन्स या थेरावादिन्स, राइट? उनके सबसेक्ट सर्वस्तिवाद में सौत्रांतिका वैभासिका, विभाजवाद में हेमवाद और महिसाका, पुद्गलवाद में सामित्या, धर्मोत्रिया एंड सनाग्रिका. दिस इज द table or flow chart you will just see just one day before the exam, right? Similarly, महायान में ये 3 सेक्ट हैं, एक व्यवहारिका, गोकुलिका, चैत्तिका, राइट? एक व्यवहारिका में लोकोत्तरवाद है. लोकोत्तरवाद is treating or considering Buddha as transcendental divine being, beyond realm, beyond understanding, right? लोकोत्तरवाद, लोक से ऊपर, राइट? ठीक है, ये किसका है? महायानिस्ट्स को ये बिलीव करते हैं. तो अगर स्टेटमेंट आता है कि लोकोत्तरवाद इज एन ऑफशूट ऑफ महायान, दैट विल बी करेक्ट. उसी बेसिस पे ये दिस टेबल इज इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट? बस इतना भी सेक्ट और सब सेक्ट कर लिए तो भी if question would come, you will be able to still mark certain kind of statement, right? अब question देखते हैं. देखो 2020 में क्या आया BYQ में? स्थाविरावादिन्स belong to महायान बुद्धिज्म. नहीं था ना? स्थाविरावादिन तो हीनयान या थेरावादिन है, तो 1 गलत हो गया. Similarly, just see, Lokottarvadan sect was an offshoot of Mahasangika. Yes, Lok se bhi upar. Mahasangika is treating Buddha as divine being, है ना? Deification of Buddha by Mahasangikas fostered Mahayana Buddhism. Yes, because Mahayana is treating Buddha as a deity which is worshipped, right? तो अब ये question difficult नहीं लग रहा है, right? Similarly, if you see 2019 में भी Mahayana Buddhism के features पूछे, deification of Buddha, trading the path of Bodhisattva. Bodhisattvas Mahayanist वाले concept में ही आते हैं, which are helping the people to attain nirvana, right? Image worship and rituals, yes, that is also part of Mahayana. अब ritual से मतलब तंत्र नहीं है. It is a generic word, image worship and rituals. Ritual मतलब पूजा करना, right? Offer flowers, etc. ठीक है? Again, on the basis of this, try to solve this question. Mahayana school accepted the Bodhisattva ideal as its central religious aspiration. Yes? Third देखो, Lokottarvad was a subsect within Sthaviravadan tradition. स्थाविरावादन नहीं है, महासंगिका या महायान है. तो अगर थर्ड एलिमिनेट हो गया तो आंसर आ गया, राइट? सो यस, योगाचार स्कूल ऑफ महायान बुद्धिज्म वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय ब्रदर्स असंग एंड मसुबन. ठीक है, राइट? दिस इज हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू डू सेक्ट्स, राइट? ठीक है, ओके. ये अब उसका और ज़्यादा है, मैंने आपको मेन बता दिया है. अरहत क्या होता है, बोधिसत्व क्या होता है, राइट? दीज आर डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स विच यू नीड टू नो. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल महासंगिका ट्रीट्स बुद्ध एज सुपरा मंडेन. सुपरा मंडेन मतलब बियॉन्ड ऑर्डिनरी. मंडेन मतलब ऑर्डिनरी, सुपरा मंडेन मतलब बियॉन्ड ऑर्डिनरी. दैट मीन्स ही इज नॉट एन ऑर्डिनरी मैन लाइक हीनियान बिलीव दैट ही इज अ ह्यूमन टीचर. नो, ही इज अ गॉड, ही इज डिवाइन बीइंग, राइट? Ab, these philosophies are also important. Very quickly we are going to revise it and how you are going to understand it. Shunyavad has been propounded by Nagarjun. इस शून्यवाद को मध्यमिका स्कूल ऑफ थॉट भी बोलते हैं, मध्यमिका फिलोसफी भी बोलते हैं. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज नागार्जुन हैज बीन गिवन एज ऑप्शन बाय UPSC थ्रू द क्वेश्चंस व्हिच दे हैव फ्रेम्ड. इवन मध्यमिका इज इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, किसने दिया है? नागार्जुन ने दिया है. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? शून्यवाद डज नॉट मीन जीरो हियर. सिंपली it does not mean zero. Shunya in Buddhist philosophy means emptiness. Emptiness, not zero. Empty and zero are two different things. बस इतना ही कीवर्ड याद रखना है. शून्यवाद means all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, not zero. That means reality is relationally dependent and not self-existing. खालीपन क्यों होता है? हम किसी को मिस करते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि हम डिपेंडेंट है उस पे. Right? This is what it is saying. Reality is relationally dependent and not self-existing. अगर self-existing होता तो फिर वो empty नहीं होता. Right? ठीक है? So that's why this Madhyamika school of thought believes in the middle way or middle path. No extremes. बैलेंस रखो, खुद भी खुश रहो और दूसरे से भी खुशी लो, राइट? बैलेंस्ड अप्रोच. विज्ञानवाद या योगाचार फिलोसफी गिवन बाय असंग एंड वसाबंधु, बोथ आर ब्रदर्स. नाउ योगचार जहां आ जाता है, योग मीन्स कॉन्शियसनेस, राइट? So what does it believe in? It believes in consciousness only. Whatever the world is, external world, is not existing independently. Only consciousness is real. हमारा conscious ही real है. इसलिए योग में when we do this meditation, we are told not to get affected by the external world. Everything is inside. कॉन्शियसनेस. बस इसको इसी तरीके से याद रखोगे. विज्ञानवाद मतलब डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस. क्लियर? ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, लोकोत्तरवाद क्या होता है? लोकोत्तर बुद्ध और लोकोत्तरवाद मीन्स ट्रांसीडेंटल और सुप्रामंडेन बुद्ध, मतलब बियॉन्ड ऑर्डिनरी, बियॉन्ड दिस रेल्म, राइट? ठीक है, बस इसको इतना ही याद रखना है, राइट? बस अब क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. सो इन 2018 there has been a question on Bodhisattva, which with reference to Indian history, who among the following is a future Buddha yet to come to save the world? जैसे कल की अवतार है ना, that it will come to save the world. ऐसे ही Buddhism में भी there is this future Buddha who will come to save the world, and he is known as who? Maitreya. So who's Buddha? Buddha is taking birth in different lives cycle, right? तो जो फ्यूचर में आएगा वो होगा मैत्रेय. सेकेंडली, अवलोकितेश्वर एंड पद्मपाणि आर सेम. अवलोकितेश्वर एंड पद्मपाणि आर सेम, राइट? ठीक है, अब लेट्स सी दिस क्वेश्चन. अवलोकितेश्वर, प्रिंसिपल एट्रीब्यूट इज लोटस. अब जैसे मैंने बोल दिया अवलोकितेश्वर इज पद्मपाणि, पद्म इज लोटस, ही इज अ लोटस बेरर, राइट? मंजुश्री स्वॉर्ड, वज्रपाणि थंडरबोल्ट, ऑल थ्री आर करेक्टली मैच्ड, राइट? आर यू सपोज टू डू देम? यस, बिकॉज देयर हैज बीन अ क्वेश्चन ऑन बोधिसत्वास, राइट? ये हम कर चुके हैं, थेरावाद और महायान. बोधिसत्व का कॉन्सेप्ट हमें पता चल गया है. दीज आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बोधिसत्व. अवलोकितेश्वर, पद्मपाणि, हैविंग द सिंबल लोटस, राइट? अब यही है जो कंपैशन और मर्सी दिखाता है, राइट? मंजूश्री, मंजूश्री इज अ सिंबल ऑफ विजडम एंड नॉलेज, राइट? दिस इज डिपिक्टेड विद अ स्वॉर्ड. आइडियली तो बुक होनी चाहिए विजडम एंड नॉलेज, मगर स्वॉर्ड, वो जो स्वॉर्ड है वो इग्नोरेंस को कट कर रही है. वाई द स्वॉर्ड विद विजडम? टू कट इग्नोरेंस. इग्नोरेंस कट करोगे तभी आप निर्वाणा को अटेन कर पाओगे, तभी यू विल किल योर डिजायर्स, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट एवरीथिंग इज इम्पर्मानेंट. जब ये फोन 10 साल बाद ऐसे रहेगा ही नहीं, तो मैं क्यों अटैच हूँ आईफोन 14 से? नहीं होंगी. This is reality. Veil of ignorance will be cut through this, so that I don't have the desire to buy this phone. मतलब future generation वाला phone. Vajrapani. Vajrapani represents power and protection. How will you ensure that you can give power and protection till the time you don't have a thunderbolt or a vajra? Right? सिमिलरली मैत्रेय फ्यूचर बुद्धा है टू टीच प्योर धर्म. जब इतना अधर्म हो जाएगा तो सब वही बताएगा ना क्या धर्म होना चाहिए, क्या धर्म होना चाहिए, राइट? क्षितिगर्भ, क्षितिगर्भ इज अ प्रोटेक्टर ऑफ बीइंग्स इन हेल. जो नर्क लोक है उसका जो बोधिसत्व है वो कौन है? क्षितिगर्भ, राइट? जो कि विश फुलफिल करेगा, राइट? सामंत भद्र is a bodhisattva of meditation and practice. तो ऐसे कर कर थोड़ा सा familiarity लेकर आनी है on the bodhisattvas. अमिताभ बहुत important है, अमिताभ बच्चन नहीं, अमिताभ बोधिसत्व. Who's अमिताभ बुद्ध? Bodhisattva of infinite life and light. Actually, this is the Buddha who's there in the heaven. जैसे क्षितिगर्भ है hell का protector, हेवन का प्रोटेक्टर है अमिताभ. इनफाइनाइट लाइट, हेवन में लाइट है, राइट? इनफाइनाइट लाइट, सेंट्रल टू प्योर लैंड बुद्धिज्म. प्योर लैंड मतलब हेवन वाला बुद्धिज्म, राइट? ठीक है. सो दीज आर फ्यू ऑफ द बोधिसत्वास. हाँ, ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो एक तो है मैत्रेय फ्यूचर बुद्धा, एक है तथागत जो यूपीएससी पूछ चुका है 10 कम एंड 10 गॉन. आता है जाता है, आता है जाता है, मतलब आएगा और जाएगा फिर आएगा, राइट? दीपांकर कौन है? पास्ट बुद्ध. दीपांकर कौन है? पास्ट बुद्ध. फ्यूचर बुद्ध कौन है? मैत्रेय बुद्ध. तथागत कौन है? 10 कम 10 गॉन. तो ये प्रत्येक बुद्ध क्या होगा? प्रत्येक. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यू कैन गेट अ क्वेश्चन ऑन प्रत्येक बुद्ध ऑल्सो, राइट. सो दीज आर डिफरेंट बुद्ध. पहले हम इनको करते हैं. पास्ट बुद्ध कौन सा है? दीपांकर, राइट. पास्ट बुद्ध दीपांकर. प्रेजेंट बुद्ध गौतम बुद्ध. प्रेजेंट बुद्ध गौतम बुद्ध. फ्यूचर बुद्ध मैत्रेय. प्रत्येक बुद्ध ऐसा बुद्ध है जो कि अपने में रहता है, सॉलिटरी. ही डज नॉट टीच लाइक देर आर हेरेटिक्स, देर आर सन्यासीज, है ना, जो कि अपनी तपस्या करते रहते हैं. दे डोंट गिव ज्ञान. सिमिलरली लाइक प्रत्येक बुद्ध, सॉलिटरी बुद्ध. ही डज नॉट टीच, appear when no Buddha teaching exists. ठीक है, they are in their own solitary world, right? Then these are again terms. महापरिनिर्वाण आपको पता है, death. प्रज्ञान पारमिता is in the concept of Mahayana Buddhism perfection of wisdom. प्रज्ञान पारमिता, ये पाला लिटरेचर भी है, अस्त सहस्र का प्रज्ञान पारमिता. There is this Pala text, 8,000 lines of wisdom, Asta Sahasrika Pragyan Paramita, lines of wisdom. So ये क्या, प्रज्ञान पारमिता क्या है? Wisdom, right? अनाथ का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या होता है बुद्धिज्म में? नॉन सेल्फ और impermanence. Everything is impermanent, temporary. Nothing is permanent. That is अनाथ, right? तो जो सोल भी है वो क्या है? Changing the physical form. Mental combinations. इसका क्या मतलब है? Soul का concept in Buddhism is Anathvad, right? In Hinduism, soul means soul takes birth after birth. Soul is eternal. Hinduism में soul means it is eternal. It does not change. Soul change नहीं हो रही है. मगर Buddhism में soul का मतलब है soullessness. No soul is eternal. Every soul changes its form, but there is some essence of it. तो ये एग्जाम्पल दिया जाता है बुद्धिज्म में. जैसे मिल्क से कर्ड बनता है, तो कर्ड मिल्क नहीं बन सकता, but there is an element of milk in the curd. Similarly, from curd you get butter. Butter cannot become curd. Curd cannot but become milk, but in butter you have element of milk and curd. So in every birth the soul has some changes in its self. ठीक है, this is what is अनाथवाद. अरहत कौन होता है? Arhathood is what? Arhat, who has achieved nirvana. अभी तो बताया था individual salvation. ठीक है. पति मोक्ष या पति मोक्ष क्या होता है? कोड ऑफ मोनास्टिक ऑर्डर कंटेनिंग टीचिंग्स फॉर मॉन्क्स एंड नन्स. तो ये सारे टर्म्स हैं जो कि आप रिवाइज कर सकते हो. टर्म बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं तो आप ये देख सकते हो. ठीक है, हम आगे बढ़ते हैं क्वेश्चंस पे. जैसे मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये भी पता होना चाहिए, अष्ट महास्थान. Ashtamasthan represents a concept of 8 significant pilgrimage sites related to Buddha. There has been a question on sites, life of Buddha, places associated with Buddha's life. So these are Ashtamasthanas, which are 8 pilgrimage sites related to Buddha, right? For example, Bodh Gaya में उनको enlightenment मिला. लुम्बिनी में he was born. सारनाथ में he gave the first sermon. कुशीनगर में he died. श्रावस्ती में miracles happened. संकीसा में descent from heaven. तुषिता heaven. राजगीर में taming of elephant. वैशाली में offering of honey. Now these are places associated with Buddha's life, right? एक तो है 5 live events और ये जो +3 हैं जैसे श्रावस्ती, संकीसा, राजगीर, ये डिफरेंट हैं, राइट? ओके, ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. ये संघ से रिलेटेड कुछ टर्म्स हैं. अब आपको टर्म्स और कहीं से करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ये भी कर लोगे तो मोर देन सफिशिएंट है इन द लास्ट लैप. परामीज क्या होते हैं या परामिताज क्या होते हैं? परामिताज इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट इन बुद्धिज्म विच इज डीलिंग और टॉकिंग अबाउट द परफेक्शंस वन हैज़ टू अटेन, राइट? विदाउट अब कुछ क्वालिटीज़ होती हैं जो जब आपके अंदर आएंगी तभी आपको निर्वाणा मिलेगा. या रियल नॉलेज मिलेगी, वो क्वालिटीज तो होनी चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट दिस concept of paramis or paramita talking about, that there are certain qualities which one has to have, then only one can attain nirvana. ठीक है, अब ये qualities तो learn करनी नहीं है, वो ये नहीं पूछेंगे, वो क्वेश्चन आएगा paramis या paramitas क्या है, और वो पूछ चुके हैं in the form of a question. There was a term given, paramitas, what does it refer to, and the options were given, right? Okay. Then the way we have in Buddhism paramitas ka concept, in Jainism you have panch parameshthi. जैसे बुद्धिज्म में paramitas का concept है, paramitas means perfections which one has to attain. Similarly in Jainism there is a concept of panch parameshthi, again the 5 supreme authorities, right? Now let's see this question. The doctrine of Shunyata was systematically expounded by Nagarjuna of the Madhyamika school. अभी पढ़ा है हमने, Shunyata Madhyamika propounded by Nagarjuna. Yogachar school holds that consciousness alone is ultimately real. Yes. The 6 paramitas are the perfections cultivated on the Bodhisattva path. Yes. All 3 are correct, right? Next, there was this question, देखो ये दिया हुआ है ना, प्रज्ञान पारमिता, क्या है ये? Lines of wisdom. अगर सिर्फ ये भी आएगा तो भी you have to relate it with Buddhism, right? And in Pala times, I have already told you there was this 8,000 lines of wisdom documented, Asta Sahasrika Pragyan Paramita, right? So UPSC had asked this question. Sangbhuti, who traveled to China at the end of the 4th century, was the author of a commentary on. देखो अगर ऐसा question आया तो simply छोड़ देना, क्योंकि या तो आप learn करोगे या नहीं करोगे. तो ऐसे questions पे you don't have to attempt. But having said that, once any question has been asked by UPSC in the PYQs, it is your dharma to prepare that, है ना? तो अगर आप ये सब प्रिपेयर कर कर जाना चाहते हो तो जा सकते हो, राइट? बट मैं आपको ये बोलूँगी कि देर आर सर्टन थिंग्स विच यू कांट टारगेट. ऑब्वियसली देर आर फ्यू थिंग्स विच यू कैन टारगेट इन बुद्धिज्म, जैनिज्म, बट यू कांट डू इट ऑल. यू आर नॉट हैविंग दैट वज्र और अ स्वॉर्ड विच कैन लेट यू हैव ऑल द एनलाइटनमेंट, राइट? तो वो नहीं करना है. आप कोई बोधिसत्व थोड़ी हो, तो आपको अपनी हेल्प खुद करनी है. यू आर अर्हत, ठीक है? हु नोज वॉट ही और शी कैन डू. आप दूसरों के बारे में नहीं सोच सकते हो. खैर, वॉट माई पॉइंट इज दैट देर आर स्कॉलर बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस. सो सबसे पहले तो आपको ये पता होना चाहिए ये जो भी हैं ये बुद्धिस्ट स्कॉलर्स हैं या डिसाइपल्स हैं बुद्ध के, राइट? नागार्जुन, बुद्ध घोष, वसुबंधु, असंग, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? अब क्वेश्चन ये है विशुद्धि मार्ग किसने कंपोज किया है? तो स्कॉलर्स पे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, डिसाइपल्स पे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, राइट? अब दिस you have to remember. Vishuddhi Marg is a kind of a text that is written by Buddha Ghosh in the 5th century AD. Buddha Ghosh has also authored Sumangal Vasani and Atha Kathayan. ये जो विशुद्धि मार्ग है ये बहुत important है, right? Asang is the brother of Vasubandhu, is also a co-founder of Yogachar. तो असंग और वसुबंधु योगाचार और माध्यमिका स्कूल से रिलेटेड है, राइट? और ये महायानिस्ट फिलॉसफी है. योगाचार, सॉरी, मध्यमिका महायानिस्ट फिलॉसफी है, राइट? These are Buddhist scholars again. Ashwa Ghosh. Ashwa Ghosh has written Buddha Charita, biography on Buddha in Sanskrit. ठीक है? Other works of Ashwa Ghosh, very very important. Saundarnand, Sutra Lankar, Sariputra Prakaran and Vajra Suchi. अब वहाँ पर अगर टेक्स्ट आए तो वज्र सूची से आपको बुद्धिज्म रिलेट करना है क्योंकि वज्रपानी आपको पता है. सिमिलरली सरिपुत्र प्रकरण, सरिपुत्र अगेन बुद्धिज्म, राइट. बुद्ध चरिता नाम से ही पता है, तो कुछ वर्क्स आपको अश्वघोष के याद रखने हैं. सिमिलरली नागार्जुन, मध्यमिका सिद्धांत, मध्यमिका सूत्र अलंकार. सो मध्यमिका जहाँ आ गया नागार्जुन, राइट. सो अगर लर्न होता है तो यू कैन रेफर दिस स्लाइड फॉर द स्कॉलर्स एंड देयर वर्क्स. ललित विस्तार सूत्र दिया हुआ था ऑप्शन में जब संगभूति पूछा. इट इज अ स्टोरी that starts from the descent of Buddha from the Tushita heaven, मतलब स्वर्ग लोक से, right, with his first sermon in the deer park. This is what this text is talking about. Now this text is a compilation of many authors. No single author has been given credit to Lalit Vistar Sutra. So it was just given as a trap. But वो किससे डील कर रहा है? तुषिता हेवन से. हेवन, Buddha coming from the heaven, right? संगभूति पूछ लिया है. Chinese so the monk who traveled to China. These are the names of other travelers who have traveled to China from India or Sri Lanka. जैसे monk पुण्य तत्र. अब अगर learn कर सकते हो तो कर सकते हो, तो कर लो. Content मैं आपको दे रही हूँ. However, I feel this should not be done right now. Just to have that FOMO, because UPSC has asked question on this, that's why there is a possibility that related question can be asked, right? Okay, next. अब देखो ये question देखो. With reference to ancient India, Gautam Buddha was generally known by which of the following epithets? नया पुत्र, शाक्य मुनि, तथागत. ठीक है. अब ये भी मेरे हिसाब से फैक्चुअल है. वाई? बिकॉज शाक्य मुनि से फिर भी यू कैन रिलेट, बिकॉज बुद्ध वॉज बॉर्न इन शाक्य क्लैन. दैट्स वाई ही वॉज नोन एज शाक्य मुनि, राइट. बट वेन दिस क्वेश्चन केम, मेनी ऑफ यू वुड नॉट बी नोइंग दैट नया पुत इज नॉट एन एपिथेट रिलेटेड टू बुद्ध. इट वॉज एन एपिथेट यूज्ड बाय महावीर. दिस नया पुत इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द आइडिया बिकॉज महावीर बिलोंग टू जनात्रिका क्लैन. Janatrika clan was also known as Naya clan, right? इसलिए नया पुत्र, right? Tathagat, thus come, thus gone. So 2 and 3 are the epithets used by Gautam Buddha, right? अब नया पुत्र, question फिर क्या आ सकता है? नया पुत्र किसका epithet है? Who has taken this title? It is Mahavir, right? अब if UPSC is going to ask from this theme, these are the other epithets which is associated with Buddha. Shaka हमें पता चल गया है. Birushana, Denichi is cosmic Buddha. Amida, Yakushi, Miroko, right? Similarly, there is this Sugata which is also associated with Buddha. जैसे 10 come 10 gone है, वैसे ही Sugata है well gone, well spoken. Su means good. तो ये भी कुछ टर्म्स हैं विच कैन बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम बुद्ध, राइट. लोक विदु, नोअर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. लोक, लोकोत्तरवाद, लोक विदु बुद्धिज्म से रिलेटेड है, राइट. महावीर के क्या है एपिथेट? उसको नया पुत्र भी बोलते हैं महावीर जी को, मुनि भी बोलते हैं, सामन भी बोलते हैं, निगंत, ब्राह्मण. दे आर ऑल एपिथेट्स यूज्ड बाय महावीर, राइट. बस. So this Nayaput is, he's taken this title after the code of Dham from which the Nadars are given the title Janatri or the Janatri clan, right? Okay. Then in 2018 there was a question with reference to religious practices in India. Sthanakvasi sect belongs to which faith? It is related to Jainism. अब ये question देखो. Just because you have got to know that Sthanakvasi has been asked by UPSC, you should know whether Sthanakvasi is a subsect within Digambar or Shwetambar. ये आपका धर्म है, आपको पता होना चाहिए, है ना. क्योंकि ट्रैप यहीं पर फिर बनेगा. next level of understanding which I am trying to give you through the questions is how UPSC then go beyond one step, right? तो दिगंबर सेक्ट ऑफ जैनिज्म रिजेक्ट्स द पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ लिबरेशन फॉर विमेन. अब मैंने जैसे बोला स्थनकवासी सेक्ट नॉलेज हैज़ टू कम फ्रॉम द PYQ, राइट. सो इट डज नॉट बिलोंग टू दिगंबर बट श्वेतांबर, ठीक है. अगर किसी को ये पता है तो 2 एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा, आंसर हो जाएगा 1 and 3, Clear? तो इसी approach से, that's why we are having this session. That what is one step beyond which you have to know in the PYQs, right? तो स्थनकवासी से आप relate करोगे श्वेतांबर sect, right? दिगंबर sect rejects the possibility of liberation for women in their present world. मतलब दिगंबर्स बोलते हैं women liberate नहीं हो सकती हैं इस जन्म में, right? तेरापंथी सेक्ट इज एन ऑफशूट ऑफ स्थनकवासी. तो इसका मतलब स्थनकवासी का ऑफशूट है तेरापंथी सेक्ट. सो स्थनकवासीज कौन होते हैं? स्थनकवासीज रिजेक्ट आइडल वर्शिप एंड मीट फॉर प्रेयर हॉल्स कॉल्ड स्थानक्स. स्थान पे वो मिलेंगे, प्रेयर हॉल में मिलेंगे, उसी से स्थानकवासी आ रहा है. सो दैट मीन्स दे आर रिजेक्टिंग आइडल वर्शिप, राइट? दे आर रिजेक्टिंग आइडल वर्शिप. तो स्थनकवासी कौन है? जो रिजेक्ट करते हैं आइडल वर्शिप को. तेरापंथी सेक्ट वाज फाउंडेड बाय आचार्य भिक्षु इन 1760 एंड दे ब्रोक फ्रॉम स्थनकवासी. मतलब स्थनकवासी और तेरापंथी में जो कॉमन चीज है वो ये है दैट दे बोथ रिजेक्ट आइडल वर्शिप. दे बोथ रिजेक्ट आइडल वर्शिप. That means you have to know certain subsects of Jainism. So there are two main schools. One is Shwetambar, the other one is Digambar. We'll get to know the difference also very soon. But Shwetambar में ये तीन sect हैं जो most important है. कौन से? स्थनकवासी, तेरापंथी, मूर्ति पूजक. अब आपको learn कैसे करना है. So when you've got to know that स्थनकवासीज reject idol worship. So Sthanakvasi and Terapanthi reject idol worship. But Sthanakvasi also have Murti Pujaks. Right? और वो क्या करते हैं? वो तीर्थंकर के आइडल्स को वर्शिप करते हैं. तीर्थंकर के. राइट? दिगंबर में ये सारे हैं. मूल संघ 20 पंथ, तरन पंथ 13 पंथ. यहाँ पर भी तेरापंथी है, यहाँ पर भी तेरापंथ है, राइट? थोड़ा सा डिफ्रेंसिएशन वो मेरे को नहीं लगता दैट दे विल गो टू दिस लेवल, बट हाँ मूल संघ और 20 पंथ पता होना चाहिए आपको, राइट? अब it is your call whether you can remember this or not, but at least this you have to know, right? क्योंकि स्थनकवासी they have asked, तो इतना तो पता होना चाहिए वो श्वेतांबर ट्रेडिशन में बिलीव करते हैं. So they are an offshoot of श्वेतांबर, right? Now, coming to Digambar and Shwetambar's main difference. So, Digambar sect was established by Bhadrabahu, who during the modern period went in the south to propagate Jainism due to schism or division, right? Shwetambar was established by Sthulbhadra in Magadh. So there is this schism or division happened that led to the division of Jain teachings or Jain philosophy into two broad schools, Digambar and Shwetambar. Digambar, south, Bhadrabahu, Shwetambar, Sthulbhadra, Magadh, right? What are the teachings and philosophy on the basis of which this division is to be understood? So Digambar follow Mahavir's Panch Mahavrat, right? मतलब अहिंसा, सत्य, अस्तेय, ब्रह्मचार्य. ब्रह्मचार्य was added by Lord Mahavir as a fifth vow, right? अपरिग्रह. They emphasize strict austerity and renunciation. तो जो साउथ में गए वो स्ट्रिक्ट फॉलो करना चाहते थे, राइट? बट श्वेतांबर्स वांटेड लिबरल और मॉडरेट इंक्लूजन ऑफ रिचुअल्स. ठीक है? ऐसा ही स्किज्म हमने बुद्धिज्म में भी देखा था. On the basis of who wanted liberal interpretation or follow of Vinay Pitak. उसकी वजह से साविरावादन्स और महासंघिकास हुए, right? Similarly, दिगंबर और श्वेतांबर के बीच में main difference है on again the following of the Mahavir's Panch Mahavrat. दिगंबर strict, श्वेतांबर्स liberal, right? Clothing practices. Digambar complete nudity, whereas female monks, Aryakas, wear plain white saris. Shwetambar, they wear simple white robes, right? Idol worship. Tirthankar idols are nude, plain because they practice nudity, right? श्वेतांबर idols are adorned with jewels because liberal थे ना वो, right? View on women, अब वो क्योंकि strict हैं, orthodox हैं, they who दिगंबर say that women cannot attain liberation unless reborn as men. उनको जब वो मेल पैदा होंगी अगले जन्म में या जब भी जन्म में, then only they can attain salvation, and they believe 19th तीर्थंकर मल्ली as male, whereas वो लिबरल हैं श्वेतांबर, तो वो बोलेंगे हाँ women can attain, and they regard 19th तीर्थंकर मल्ली as women, ठीक है, as female तीर्थंकर, right? Now, most important sect or sorry text. So Digambars believe that original Jain scriptures are lost, or Shvetambars believe that Agamas are the sacred scriptures which can be used for Jain teachings, right? So this is what you are going to understand. Key temple Shravan Belgol मतलब Deccan में है Digambar, और Shvetambars North and Central India and Eastern India, right? Now, there is another philosophy, Anekadvad, which has been asked by UPSC. Anekadvad is the core theory and philosophy of which of the following? This was asked in 2009, so Anekadvad is related to Jainism. Now just see the question, how this can be framed. The doctrine of Anekadvad teaches that all knowledge is absolute and final. What is Anekadvad? That viewing of life from different perspectives. There are multiple perspectives to see reality, right? So how can it say that all knowledge is absolute and final? It says knowledge is to be seen from different viewpoints, different perspective. Anekatvad, multiple perspectives or multiple reality. तो one गलत है तो A और D eliminate हो गया. Now coming to second and third. The three ratna of Jainism consists right faith, right knowledge and right conduct. Yes. Mahavir reduced the great vows. No. He added the fifth vow as brahmacharya. So 3 is wrong, so answer is 2 only. Right? तो आप रिवाइज कर सकते हो. 3 रत्ना का कॉन्सेप्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है. अनेकतवाद, आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू दैट रियलिटी इज टू बी सीन फ्रॉम मल्टीपल पर्सपेक्टिव. एक बहुत ही जेनरिक एग्जांपल दे रही हूँ. दिस पोडियम, दिस टेबल, इफ आई से दैट आई कैन सिट ऑन इट, कैन आई से दैट इट इज अ चेयर? यस, बट यू कैन ऑलवेज से दैट दिस इज नॉट completely chair because it does not have an armrest, right? So that means reality can be understood from different perspective. Right? It can be used as a table, it can be used as a podium, it can be used also as a place of sitting, right? So this objective reality is having different uses or different viewpoints, right? Okay? So this is what is Anekatvad. 5 great vows: non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing asteya, non-possession, aparigraha and chastity, brahmacharya was added by Mahavir. There is a concept of great vows and anuvrat. Great vows are mahavrat, which are practiced by monks and nuns. जो जैनिज्म को फॉलो करते हैं कॉमन मैन के लिए, ले पीपल के लिए, हाउस होल्डर्स के लिए, there is this anuvrat, which is having less or liberal application of vows. Clear? अनेकवाद हो गया. श्यादवाद क्या होता है? श्यादवाद means that all judgments or reality is conditional or relational, contextual. इस तरीके से समझ लो. Reality is to be seen from different perspective but in different context also. They are context dependent. Maybe this is a chair, maybe this is a table, maybe this is a podium. That is Shyadvad, theory of maybe. Anekadvad is reality is having multiple perspective, right? What is Nayavad? Nayavad means reality can be understood from multiple perspective. Each Naya is offering some partial truth to broader understanding. तो मतलब यही है, reality is diverse, right? Okay. There are 24 Tirthankars. Rishabnad and Arishtnemi are found in Rig Ved. So there is mention of Jain Tirthankars in Rigved. Which Jain Tirthankar? Rishabhnath and Arishtanemi. Right? These are the Tirthankars whose symbol, birthplace, and where they died are important. Obviously, the first, Rishabhnath, symbol is bull, birthplace Ayodhya, and death place is Mount Kailash. Parasnath, the 23rd Tirthankar, serpent is the symbol, Varanasi, birthplace, Moksha is Shikharji, right? Mahavir, symbol lion, birthplace Bihar, Kundagram, Moksha is also Bihar, Pavapuri. So these are the basic places, symbols of Jain Tirthankars which you need to know, right? Now let's see the question again. So UPSC asked this question on literature, Jain text, and they had given you certain texts. Now here also UPSC intended to check not exact knowledge but your basic understanding and how. So if someone knows that Avadanas are a kind of text associated with Buddhism, they will see that where third is there. So third was there in every option except B. तो इस तरीके से you have to draw certain kind of connections by knowing very basic and minimum stuff also. You can solve such heavy duty questions, right? जो दिखने में बहुत difficult होते हैं मगर करने में नहीं होते हैं. तो UPSC का intention बहुत clear है that whether you know Avadans or not, right? पूछ जैन टेक्स्ट रहे हैं, ट्रैप में वो हमेशा बुद्धिज्म का देंगे. सिमिलरली बुद्धिज्म पे क्वेश्चन है, ट्रैप में जैन टेक्स्ट हो जाएंगे. Right? Now, because Parishisht Parvan had been asked, so let's see this question. Parishisht Parvan is a Sanskrit work by Jain scholar Hemchandra Suri. It is a continuation of his Trishasti Shalak Purusha Charita and deals with the lives of Jain elders. Hemchandra was a court poet of Solanki king Kumar-Pal. Right? अब इस तरीके से one layer, two layers खुल जाती है. That do you know कि परिशिष्ट पर्वन किसने लिखा है, that scholar is belonging to which dynasty rule, etc. ठीक है? Very very important. This Hemchandra Suri is has also been given credit by writing Yog Shastra and Parishisht Parvan. Yog Shastra भी बहुत important है, right? So let's see the explanation of this. Hemchandra Suri. कौन सी सेंचुरी? 11 to 12th सेंचुरी. श्वेतांबर स्कॉलर है, राइट? ही इज रिगार्डेड एज फादर ऑफ गुजराती लैंग्वेज. फादर ऑफ गुजराती लैंग्वेज, राइट? सो ही विल बी फाउंड वेयर? गुजरात. ठीक है? यहां पर ऑप्शन में क्या दिया हुआ है? सोलंकी किंग कुमारपाल, है ना? ठीक है, तो ये भी हमें पता होना चाहिए कि है या नहीं है, राइट? ओके, कहाँ गया क्वेश्चन फिर से? राइट, नाउ कमिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड द टेक्स्ट्स और लिटरेचर ऑफ जैनिज्म. Very very important. The works which I am talking about, you can write alongside because they are very very important. Now, when it comes to Mahavir's last sermon or the last teaching, that is considered to be the most dear Jain ethical text. जो महावीर का लास्ट सरमन था, लास्ट टीचिंग थी, दैट इज कंसिडर्ड और रिगार्डेड एज द मोस्ट एथिकल जैन टेक्स्ट. और वो क्या है? वो है उत्तराध्यान सूत्र. सो उत्तराध्यान सूत्र इज द लास्ट सरमन which has been given by Mahavir and is considered to be the Jain ethical text. Right? Uttaradhyan Sutra. Right? Then, as part of Jain literature, canonical literature. Canon क्या होता है? Authoritative text. Canonical literature मतलब authoritative text जो Jains जिन text को authoritative मानते थे, follow करते थे. Right? Now there are some parts of the authoritative text. Parts को बोलते हैं अंग, है ना? Parts are known as ang. So there are 12 angas of Jain canonical literature Obviously, you can't learn all the 12 Angas, but there are certain important Jain literature. So, the one which is dealing with conduct for monks, rules for the conduct of monks, it is also containing the description of Mahavir's ascetic life. Also, this is the oldest surviving Jain text in Ardh-Magdi Prakrit is Acharang Sutra. मतलब कैसा आपका आचार होना चाहिए, your conduct, ठीक है, that is Acharang Sutra, dealing with rules of conduct for monks. It is the oldest surviving Jain text in Ardh-Magdi Prakrit. ये बहुत important है, right? Similarly, there is this Bhagavati या व्याख्य प्रज्ञानपति. भगवती और वाक्य प्रज्ञानपति, ये लार्जेस्ट encyclopedic पार्ट है ऑफ जैन कैनोनिकल लिटरेचर. Encyclopedia क्या होती है? Which gives us information about difficult concepts, right? Ideas. So this is the largest and the most encyclopedic anga because this contains the question and answers between Mahavir and his disciples, right? भगवती या व्याख्य प्रज्ञानपति. व्याख्य से ही आपको समझ में आना जाना चाहिए, रिलेट करोगे Q&A, राइट? ठीक है. सो दिस इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. जनात्री जहां लिखा होगा वहां से आपको किसको रिलेट करना है? जैनिज्म को. जनात्री क्लान, नया क्लान या न्याय क्लान. जनात्री रिलेटेड टू योर जैनिज्म, राइट? देन another work which is important, stories of monks reborn in the highest heaven, right? अनुत्तरो पपातिकादश. तो ये जो अतिकादश है उससे आपको रिलेट करना है हेवन, राइट? लास्ट, दृष्टिवाद, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट अंगा and contains the summaries of 14 Purva. However, this is lost. मगर दृष्टिवाद important Jain text है, right? That's about it. Now these are Digambar canonical text. तो ये word याद रखना है, कुंडा कुंड. कुंडा कुंड क्या है? Most important Digambar author. Most important Digambar author. मतलब जैन स्कॉलर है. Similarly, Umaswati या Uma Swami, very very important. He has written Tattvarth Sutra, which is the only text which is considered canonical by both Digambar and Shwetambar. Tattvarth Sutra, Jain text सबसे पहले. Second, this text is considered authoritative or accepted by both Digambar and Shwetambar. Jin Sen, again very very important, Jain scholar, has written Adi Puran, Mahapuran, right? Adi Puran is the biography of Rishabhnath. Mahapuran is expanded version of all the 24 Tirthankars. Who has written? Jin Sen, 9th century AD, right? So with this we end our Buddhism Jainism. ठीक है, इतना भी PYQ inspired theme से बहुत sufficient है, right? Now coming to other aspects. Sangam literature, हर्षा के time पे literature, right? Patanjali, Panini, Natya Shastra, Bhavbhuti, Hastimala, Kshemara, right? These are again PYQ themes which are often asked by UPSC, right? So let's take up first Sangam literature. ठीक है, तो संगम लिटरेचर पे देर आर टर्म रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस, देर आर ऑल्सो नेचर बेस्ड क्वेश्चन. तो अगर हम ये देखें, सो संगम लिटरेचर, व्हाई यूपीएससी आस्क क्वेश्चंस ऑन संगम लिटरेचर? ए, बिकॉज संगम लिटरेचर गिव्स अस वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट संगम एज. Mostly it gives information about Sangam society, economy, religion, etc. There is disconnected political history which it provides. It does not provide us the continuous political history. That's why from Sangam age, political history is not asked, society is asked, economy is asked, life of people is asked, right? So obviously if this is the only source through which we understand about the Sangam age, तो Sangam literature बहुत important हो जाता है, right? So with this idea, let's understand Sangam literature. So this question is asking, how many of the following texts are part of classical Sangam literature? On the surface of it, it looks factual, but this is very conceptual. Till the time you don't know the nature of Sangam literature, what is classical and what is post Sangam literature, जैसे हम Vedic literature करते हैं, उसमें there is Rig Vedic literature and later Vedic texts. Similarly, in Sangam age also, there is classical Sangam literature which is ascribed to 300 BC to 300 CE, and the other is later Sangam texts, post Sangam texts that are ascribed to 4th century AD onwards, 5th century AD onwards, right? तो अगर किसी को पता है that they are all Tolkappiyam, Akanururu, Pulanaruru, they are part of Sangam literature, तो भी easy हो सकता है, right? कैसे? Now these are all part of classical Sangam literature. So once and for all, let me give you a mind map with respect to Sangam literature. ठीक है? तो Sangam literature is divided into two time periods. One is classical Sangam literature and one is post Sangam literature. Post Sangam literature मतलब post Sangam age में जो literature था. So this classical Sangam literature is ascribed to 300 BC to 300 CE. This is ascribed to 300 CE onwards. मतलब technically 4th century, 5th century CE. Is this very, very clear? Right? Now, when it comes to classical Sangam literature, you have Milkanakku and Kilkanakku texts. Kilkanakku. अब ये मिल्कानक्कू टेक्स्ट में क्या होता है? These are narrative texts, right? और पोस्ट संगम लिटरेचर में you have didactic texts. पहले तो नेचर समझ लो इनका. Narrative text. Narrative मतलब which is narrating the story of life of the people, economy, society. Exaggerations भी हो सकती हैं, है ना? यहाँ पर पोएम्स भी कंपाइल हुई, कंपोज हुई, सॉन्ग्स कंपाइल हुए, अक्कम एंड पुरम. अक्कम मीन्स लव थीम, पुरम मीन्स वॉर थीम, राइट? तो नैरेटिव टेक्स्ट है यहाँ पर. यहाँ पर क्या है? डाइडैक्टिक. डाइडैक्टिक मतलब राइट एंड रॉन्ग, व्हाट इज मॉरल, इमोरल, राइट? एपिक्स, जैसे वैदिक लिटरेचर में भी एपिक्स हैं, रामायण महाभारत, वो हमें कुछ बताती हैं, लेसन्स देती हैं, लाइफ लेसन्स, राइट? धर्म अधर्म, राइट? सिमिलरली पोस्ट संगम लिटरेचर में भी एथिकल मॉरल टेक्स्ट हैं, एपिक्स हैं. इज दिस वेरी वेरी क्लियर? दिस इज क्लियर. तो यहाँ पर आपके कैसे टेक्स्ट हैं? नैरेटिव. तो नैरेटिव में कैसे टेक्स्ट होंगे जो आपको याद रखना ही है? इट्टू टोगाई एंड पट्टू पट्टू. Ittu Togai means 8 anthologies. Pattu Pattu मतलब 10 idols और songs. Anthologies क्या होती हैं? Anthologies होती हैं compilation of volumes of work, stories, you know, narrations. इसमें क्या है? Anthologies हैं, written by different authors. ठीक है? एक जगह कंपाइल की गई है. यहाँ पर क्या है? सॉन्ग्स हैं. 10 आइडल्स मतलब सॉन्ग्स. यहाँ पर क्लासिकल संगम लिटरेचर में टोल्काप्पियम भी है. टोल्काप्पियम इज रिटन बाय टोल्काप्पियर. टुगेदर दिस फॉर्म्स क्लासिकल संगम लिटरेचर, राइट? और यहाँ पर आपकी सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट एथिकल टेक्स्ट है तिरुकुरल, रिटन बाय तिरुवल्लुवर, राइट। और आपके एपिक्स हैं, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट संगम एपिक्स। लर्न कैसे करना है, पहले मैं आपको लिख कर दे रही हूं, फिर आपको लर्न करवाऊंगी। शिल्पादिकरम, मणि मेघलई, जीवक चिंतामणि, वल्यापति, कुंडल केसी। देखो प्रिलिम्स में तो ये नाम आएंगे तो आपको एसोसिएट करना है संगम एपिक से, मगर हाउ विल यू मेक योरसेल्फ फेमिलियर विद दिस एक्रोनिम? शिल्पा शेट्टी यू ऑल नो, हर हस्बैंड यू ऑल नो राज कुंद्रा, ठीक है। शिल्पा शेट्टी का लाइफ का सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है मनी, उसको उसकी चिंता है, तो वो चिंता किसके साथ शेयर करेगी? अपने पति से। उनका पति कौन है? राज कुंद्रा, कुंडल केसी। शिल्पादिगरम, मणि मेघलई, जीवक चिंतामणि, वल्यापति, पति को देगी टेंशन, और वो कौन है? राज कुंद्रा, कुंडल केसी। दिस इज हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू मेक योर सेल्फ फेमिलियर इफ अ क्वेश्चन कम्स एट विच ऑफ द following is not a Sangam epic. So these are 5 epics, right? Alongside this is also very, very important post-Sangam literature. Very often quoted by our Honorable Prime Minister for the lessons on morality. Right? ठीक है? Is this very, very clear? तो ये सब क्या है? क्लासिकल संगम लिटरेचर। पोस्ट संगम में मैंने आपको बता दिए वो 6 टेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट you have to know. So what is Sangam? Sangam is basically an assembly. Sangam means people are coming together, right? So in the Sangam age, people from different classes, professions came together to compile certain texts or teachings, right? So the first Sangam assembly that happened was attended by gods and sages. मतलब ऐसा बोला जाता है भगवान ऋषि मुनि खुद उन्होंने अटेंड करी, राइट? Who was presiding? Who presided the first Sangam assembly? Agastya. Where did it happen? Madurai. But nothing was compiled. Second Sangam assembly happened at Kapadpuram. Now this was attended by kings, poets, scholars from different professions. Now this Sangam assembly was presided by Tolkappiyar. तो उन्होंने टेक्स्ट क्या लिखा? Tolkappiyam. So this is the only surviving text of the second Sangam. That's why it is a classical Sangam literature, right? Third Sangam again happened at Madurai, attended by poets, scholars, and was presided by Nakkirar. Here we have Itu Tokai and Pattu Pattu, right? So these three together are classical Sangam literature, right? So basically Sangam or assemblies were attended by poets, merchants, farmers, women also. From different social backgrounds, people attended. Now in this Sangam literature, there is this concept of Tinai given. Tinai is the ecological landscape with which the Sangam age is described. According to this landscape, right, or physiographic division, economic activities, songs, society is also defined. जैसे इस पूरे संगम एज को उन्होंने लैंडस्केप में डिवाइड किया, राइट? इफ यू कैन सी, दिस इज द कोस्टल लैंडस्केप. तो यहाँ पर मेन इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी होगी फिशिंग, सॉन्ग्स भी ऐसे ही होंगे फिशिंग से. सिमिलरली कोस्टल के बाद आपका क्या आएगा? आपका पैस्चरल आएगा, राइट? फिर सो दीज आर सर्टन टर्म्स, जैसे कुरिंची, यहां से शुरू करते हैं. सबसे इनर तिनाई कौन सी है? इनर टू आउटर. इनर इज हिली एरिया, जो सबसे ऊपर है वो है हिली एरिया. So Kurinji is hilly area, right? Hilly area के बाद है dry lands. That is known as Palai Tinai, right? Dry lands के बाद क्या है? Pastures. उसको बोलते हैं मुलाई. तो वहाँ पर pastoral nomads हैं. भेड़, बकरी, they are feeding, right? Pasture lands are always beyond the fertile lands. Fertile lands में तो लोग cattle को rear नहीं करेंगे, feed नहीं करेंगे. So fertile are your marutam, brown वाला. और फिर ये है नेतल और कोस्टल, राइट? सो इनर एंड आउटर लाइफ बेस्ड ऑन तिनाइज, स्टोरीज, सॉन्ग्स, प्रोफेशन, worship of gods. Each Tinai had different god was worshipped. Each Tinai had different economic activity based on the landscape, right? So this is what you have to understand. The concept of Tinai, right? तो ये आप learn कर सकते हो अगर मन करे तो. मैंने आपको समझा दिया. Tinai क्या है? So it will have different gods, it will have different activities and different kinds of people or classes. इतना याद रखना है that in Sangam age, different social background or classes were existing based on Tinai, right? So there are narrative texts जिनको बोलते हैं मिल्का नक्कू, right? And then there are didactic texts, उनको बोलते हैं किल्का नक्कू. Narrative text में आपके कौन से text आते हैं? Ittu Togai and Pattu Pattu. And as part of classical Sangam literature, you have Tolkappiyam. In didactic texts, which are known as Kilka Nakku, right? You have your epics and Tirukural. ठीक है? Right? अब ये नहीं learn करना है उसके अंदर क्या है. But just to tell you, there are two texts which are related to Akkam and Puram poetry. Akkam love theme, उसको बोलते हैं अगनुरु, और पुरन पोएट्री को बोलते हैं पुरुनरु. ये किसका पार्ट है? ऑब्वियसली क्लासिकल संगम लिटरेचर का पार्ट है. ठीक है? राइट? सो दिस इज हाउ यू डू इट. नाउ द फाइनर थिंग्स विच आर स्टिल लेफ्ट इज व्हेन यू आर डूइंग एपिक्स, you also need to know who has compiled them and whether it was a Buddhist text or a Jain text. So Silpadikaram was written by Ilango Adigal. Mani Begalai was written by Sitalai Satanar. Jivak Chintamani was written by Tirukattevar. Balyapati, no known poet. Kundal Kesi, Naad Kuthanar. और अगर आप देखो टाइम पीरियड, द अर्लीस्ट एपिक वॉज शिल्पादिगरम. तो शिल्पा पहले आई है और फिर स्टोरीज बनी है, राइट? उसके बाद उसको क्या चाहिए था? मनी चाहिए था, राइट? देन विच वन इज बुद्धिस्ट, विच वन इज जैन? शिल्पादिगरम जैन एपिक है, राइट? जीवक चिंतामणि जैन एपिक है. रेस्ट मणि मेघलय, वल्यापति, Kundal Kesi are Buddhist. Valyapati is also Jain. So there are 2 Buddhist and 3 Jain, right? Jain कौन सी है? शिल्पादिकरम, जीवक चिंतामणि and वल्यापति. कैसे लर्न करोगे? शिल्पा चिंता किसको देगी? पति को देगी. तीनों क्या है? जैन टेक्स्ट, राइट? मणि मेघलय, कुंडल केसी आर बुद्धिस्ट टेक्स्ट. Kundal Kesi, sorry, Mani Meghalai is the sequel of Silpadikaram, right? That's about it. ये हो गया आपका संगम literature के basics. Now, terms associated with Sangam literature are asked. So there are few terms which can be asked. One is tipaidal. Tipaidal क्या होता है? Tipaidal is basically a term referring to sati or widow self-immolation. So it is a kind of a sati practice that was performed in the Sangam age. So agar statement आया that in Sangam period there was no evidence of sati, that would be wrong, right? So tipaidal is a kind of a form of sati practiced by during the Sangam age. Then there is this term iru tazubutal, bull taming in Sangam age, bull sport. अभी भी होता है. Then there is this natukal worship, heroic stone worship, right? So stone, memorial stone was worshipped, right? That is Natukal worship. Sangam literature also believed in the sacred or magical forces. They believed in magic, right? They believed in tantra and mantra, and that was known as Ananku. That was known as Ananku, right? Magical forces. There are 4 different main classes. जैसे Vedic age में there are 4 castes. In the Sangam age there are 4 main classes. Ruling class, Arasar. Antanar is the priestly or the scholar class. Vanigar are the traders and merchants, and Vellalar are agriculturists. It is the social division that was prevalent in the Sangam age. Right? Now, Sangam age is over. Let's come to different other questions of the scholars or the rulers who have patronized literature. Literature से भी question आते हैं in your ancient medieval and culture, right? Ban Bhat, very very important, has been given by UPSC as one of the options or individual question. Ban Bhat was the court poet of Harshvardhan. Ban Bhat's Harsh Charita covers the entire reign of Harsha up to his defeat by Pulakeshin II. Kadambari was begun by Ban Bhat and completed by his son Bhushan Bhatta. Now, Ban Bhat was the court poet of Harshvardhan. ये आपको पता है. The catch is whether his Harsh Charita, which is on Harsha, does it cover the entire reign of Harsha up to his defeat? No. The early campaigns, not till the defeat of Pulakeshin II. So that's why second is wrong and 1 and 3 is the answer. ठीक है, तो ये याद रखना है that Harshcharita does not cover the entire reign of Harsha written by Ban Bhat, the early life. और ये तो रिकॉर्ड करा ही नहीं है पुलकेशिन II वाला, right? ठीक है, तो second is wrong. Kadambari play was written by Ban Bhat but was completed by his son Bhushan Bhatta. तो Ban Bhat के works important हैं. Ban Bhat was a 7th century Sanskrit writer and poet, court poet of Harsha, right? His principal works are Harshcharita, which is biography of Harsha, Kadambari, a novel. Both were written in Sanskrit. But while writing Kadambari, he died. That's why it was completed by his son Bhushan Bhatta, right? There are other works also associated with Ban Bhat. Chandi Shatak is mainly dedicated to the goddess Durga. Then there is this Parvati Parinaya drama, right? Now Ban Bhat, why is he important? Because he has been given this stature of Bano Chishtam Jagat Sarvan. That means everything in this world and nothing is left has been described by him, right? So अगर याद करना है, 2 तो याद ही रखने हैं, हर्षचरिता और कादम्बरी. Maximum you can remember Chandi Shatak. ठीक है, right? Next. Then, very very important, Vishak Dutt. Again, important ruler, Harshvardhan. So there was this question asked in 1998 where lot of important works and the authors were given. ठीक है, जैसे ये भी बहुत पूछते हैं, मृच्छकटिकम शूद्रक ने लिखी है नहीं, बुद्ध चरिता वी हैव गॉट टू नो अश्वघोष ने लिखी है, तो वसुबंधु गलत है, बट वसुबंधु इज इम्पॉर्टेंट, राइट? मुद्रा राक्षसा विशाख दत्त, हर्षचरिता बान भट्ट. सो 1, 3 and 4 is correct. यहाँ पर बुद्ध चरिता has been written by अश्वघोष, right? Now there has been a question on Harshvardhan again as a trap or as a statement. यहाँ पर भी हर्षचरिता है during the reign of Harsha. यहाँ पर the statement is whether Amar Simha was associated with Harshvardhan. So that means literature of Harshvardhan is very important, right? So there was this question where scholars and the rulers have been given, right? All the scholars and rulers mentioned in both the questions are very very important, right? ठीक है, तो अगर मैं आपको और क्वेश्चन दिखाऊं, जैसे फिर से देखो, मालविका अग्निमित्र बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, स्वप्न वसव दत्ता, मेघदूतम, रत्नावली, फिर हर्षवर्धन का दे दिया. हर्षवर्धन himself was a writer. रत्नावली was written by him, राइट, ठीक है। 2003 में फिर से मृच कटिका दिया है, शूद्रक का लिखा हुआ, जो हमने अभी पहले क्वेश्चन में देखा था, राइट। सो दीज आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थीम्स विच यू हैव टू पिक एंड रिवाइज at least minimum in the literature, right? So let's see the question. Which one of the following plays of ancient India has the romantic story of a princess of Ceylon, Sri Lanka, and King Udayan of Kaushambi, right? अब अगर हम देखें, रत्नावली प्रियदर्शिका हर्षा के टाइम के हैं, हर्षा himself has written them, right? So this theme is based on what we see in Ratnavali. A story, romantic comedy story of Princess of Sri Lanka and Udayan of Kaushambi, right? So there are three plays which are associated with Harsha. One is Naganand, which is telling us the story of how Prince Jimutvahan gives up his own body to stop a sacrifice of a Naga prince to the divine Garuda, right? अब कई बारी they do give you themes, जैसे just to show you in question जो UPSC had asked, what is this question dealing with? Story, है ना? तो story based questions are also given, right? तो कभी बारी हमें theme पता होनी चाहिए, right? Ratnavali is a story of Princess Ratnavali of Ceylon and King Udayan. Now this play, why this is important? Because it is one of the earliest textual references to the festival of Holi, Ratnavali. Priyadarshika, again a drama written by Harsha himself. These three plays have been written by Harsha, right? So Priyadarshika, a Sanskrit romantic drama which tells us the story of a union between King Udayan and Priyadarshika. Ban's Khera copper plate inscription associated with Harsha tells us that he was also a skilled calligraphist. Calligraphy क्या होती है? Stylized. अगर मेरे को A लिखना है मैं ऐसे लिखूंगी, मगर calligraphy में ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं. So he himself was a calligraphist, right? So very important. तो ये आपको learn करना है. हर्षवर्धन के place बान भट्ट, important scholar during the reign of Harsha. Harshcharita, Kadambari, Chandi Shatak, very very important. Similarly, Nagnand, Priyadarshika, Ratnavali, Harsha. Right? Again, scholars who were contemporary or were seen during this time period. Bharavi, he has written Kirat Arjunian, very very important. ठीक है? तो आप हर्षा को रिवाइज कर सकते हो through the slide. There are few things which are important. सबसे पहले contemporary, Chalukyas of Badami, Pulacation II, Battle of Narmada, Southward Campaign, right? Second, what you have to remember, also there is a temple that was built during the times of Harsha, where Lakshman Temple at Sirpur, Chhattisgarh, right? Harsha के time का है ये. Harsha patronized Nalanda University. Nalanda University was built during the times of Gupta, patronized by Harsha, right? Now let's see this question on Nalanda Mahavihara. क्यों? World Heritage Site है या नहीं है ये? Nalanda. Yes? Nalanda Mahavihara was founded under the patronage of Pala. Huan Sang studied at Nalanda University under Acharya Shilabhadra. Nalanda was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. कौन सा गलत है? First one. It was not founded under the patronage of Pala. Palas have patronized it. Harsha has patronized it. Huan Sang has visited it. But it was founded during the times of Gupta ruler. Right? So there are three famous monasteries which are very important. One is Vikramshila University, Bihar. It was established by Pala ruler Dharampal. Confusion इन्हीं monasteries के बीच में होगा, इसलिए इसी को कर लेते हैं. Vikramshila, Bihar, Dharampal. Right? Now this Vikramshila University was plundered and destroyed by Bakhtiyar Khilji, who was a general under Muhammad Ghori. ठीक है? Right? Nalanda is in Rajgriha, Bihar, built during Guptas. Which ruler? Kumar Gupt. It was patronized by Palas, it was patronized by Harsha also, right? It was also damaged by Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khilji. Udantapuri monastery is the monastery which was built during the times of Pala ruler Gopal I. Founder of Pala, Gopal, has constructed Udantapuri monastery, right? तो विक्रमशिला, पाला, उदंतपुरी, पाला. उदंतपुरी पहले बनी, गोपाला ने बनाया, धर्मपाल ने विक्रमशिला बनाई, और नालंदा कुमारगुप्त के टाइम पे बनी, राइट? विच इज दी, अब आप ये मुझे बताओगे बाय knowing something about the timeline. Now when we talk about विक्रमशिला, धर्मपाल पहले है या कुमारगुप्त पहले है? क्या वो कंटेम्प्रेरी है या नहीं है? इसी तरीके से हमें समझना होता है, राइट? नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट हर्षा, सॉरी गुप्ताज, ठीक है, गुप्ताज कहाँ तक थे? और पालास कब आ रहे हैं? इसके बाद आ रहे हैं. मिडीवल इंडिया जब शुरू होगा, ट्राइपार्टाइट स्ट्रगल, तो अब बताओ कि ये इम्पोर्टेंट है या मैपिंग इम्पोर्टेंट है ऑफ द डायनेस्टीज? Yesterday only I told you tripartite struggle, Rashtrakuta, Gujjar Pratihar and Pala after 700s. So obviously who came first? Sorry, कहाँ गया? कुमारगुप्त, ठीक है, राइट? तो इस तरीके से हमें करना है. तो नालंदा पहले आएगा, फिर विक्रमशिला आएगा. Now let's see this question. Harshvardhan. Harsha made Patliputra as a seat of his capital. पाटलिपुत्र था या कन्नौज था? पाटलिपुत्र था या कन्नौज था? कन्नौज था, right? He convened an assembly at Kannauj to widely publicize the Theravada form of Buddhism. Theravada या महायान? महायान. तो सेकंड भी गलत है, ठीक है. बान भट्ट was a poet in Harsha's court. Yes, so 3 only is the answer. राइट, ठीक है. पाटलिपुत्र और कन्नौज में ही डाउट आएगा, वहां पर भी जल्दी जल्दी में यूल मार्क. हाँ, पाटलिपुत्र मौर्याज की कैपिटल थी, हर्षा कन्नौज, राइट, ठीक है. So there are two famous assemblies during the times of Harsha. One is Kannauj and the other one is Prayag assembly. Kannauj assembly is related to Yuan Sang. It was convened to honor Yuan Sang and he patronized Mahayana Buddhism here, right? Prayag assembly is considered also associated with the times of Harsha. This was convened after every 5 years like a Kumbh Mela. Now some scholars say that this is the documented evidence of Kumbh Mela. तो यहाँ पर charities होती हैं. It was not patronizing any one faith, right? So Harsha made religious donations to sects of various faith people, right? ठीक है. So this marks the religious tolerance in the times of Harsha. But he patronized Mahayana Buddhism, और वो कन्नौज assembly से related है. Is this very very clear? Then Yuan Sang visited his court. There has already been a question in 2013 on the things which had been experienced by Yuan Sang, right? अब अगर हम ये question देखें, तो question में if you see one is there in every option, right? तो let's अब आप जब prelims भी करोगे solve, let's assume that elimination scope is given to you unlike 2023, right? तो आपको सबसे पहले ये pattern भी देखना है. फर्स्ट यू हैव टू सी कि कोई ऐसे ऑप्शंस मिल रहे हैं जो कि सब में है एक्सेप्ट वन, एंड देन रीड दैट स्टेटमेंट टू रिड्यूस टाइम, राइट? तो अगर हम फर्स्ट देखें, रोड्स एंड रिवर रूट्स वर कंप्लीटली इम्यून फ्रॉम द रॉबरी. इन फैक्ट ह्यून सांग हिमसेल्फ वाज रॉब्ड, राइट, ड्यूरिंग द टाइम्स ऑफ हर्षा. सो इट वाज नॉट कंप्लीटली इम्यून. तो इसी पे यूपीएससी ने ट्रैप करा था. सो यू नीड नॉट गो फर्दर. This may also help you. So such things you have to remember. So what was seen or recorded by Yuan Sang? He described that the kingdom was well governed, free from revolts, very few cases of law breaking. Why? Because offenders were given physical punishments and tortured as well. Burden of taxation was not heavy, इसलिए लोग बहुत खुश थे. They were free from the oppression of the government servants, but traveling on roads or highways was not at all safe because he himself was robbed off. ठीक है, this was what was recorded, right? फिर similarly another theme शूद्रक, है ना, यूपीएससी बहुत पूछती है. यहाँ पूछा शूद्रक, 2003 में पूछा मृच कटिकम written by शूद्रक, again the theme or the story it was based on, right? ठीक है, this was all that was asked by UPSC on मृच कटिकम शूद्रक. तो ये आप रिवाइज करोगे. These are most important literatures which are asked by UPSC in as a question or as a trap. ठीक है, right? So this is what you have to revise. These are for your last minute revision, right? ठीक है, अब literature में क्या ही समझाऊँ, उसमें तो you have to yourself remember, है ना? I am just making you aware about the themes which are asked. जैसे for example there is a text related to Shunga dynasty, वो कौन सा है, right? Then again they have asked about Bhash plays, right? तो भाष के वर्क्स बहुत important हैं. तो इसमें यही पूछा है, स्वप्न वसव दत्तम is attributed to which of the following dramatists? भाष. और भाष पे इंडिविजुअल क्वेश्चन भी यूपीएससी ने पूछा हुआ है. उसमें मध्यम व्यायोग is the answer. नाट्य शास्त्र has come in the news. Why? Because it has been given a place in the UNESCO's Memory of World Register. भरत मुनीज नाट्य शास्त्र. तो इसलिए नाट्य शास्त्र भी इम्पॉर्टेंट हो गया है फ्रॉम करंट अफेयर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. तो ये आप प्लेस देख सकते हो, राइट? सिमिलरली यहाँ पर क्या है, ट्रैप, महाभाष्य भास. महाभाष्य इज अ वर्क रिटन बाय पतंजलि. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके के क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ व्हाट ऑप्शंस हैव बीन गिवन. सो यू जस्ट रिवाइज इट फ्रॉम हियर, राइट? लिटरेचर से आगे बढ़े, ये आप देख लोगे. नाट्य शास्त्र बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, करंट अफेयर्स में है. इट इज एट्रीब्यूटेड टू भरत मुनि. It is a treatise on Sanskrit drama and performing arts. It introduces the Navras framework. All three are correct, right? Why this is important? This has already been asked by 2008 in the context of Memory of World Register. So there has been an inclusion of, at that point of time, Rigved in the UNESCO's Memory of World Register. ऐसा नहीं है UNESCO Memory of World इस बारी न्यूज़ में आया और कभी UPSC had not asked. They have already asked such time of question before, way back in 2018, 17 years ago, है ना? तो ऋग्वेद तब include हुआ था. तो they can ask about UNESCO Memory of World Register. You have to revise and you have to know about नाट्य शास्त्र also. Clear? ठीक है. So this is what the Memory of World Register includes, right? Here obviously you can't remember everything, but Rigved is already there, right? Then if any book is mentioned alongside the author, you have to do it. Bhagavad Gita और नाट्य शास्त्र recent inclusions हैं, right? Then again see, Panini has been asked by UPSC, right? अमर सिम्हा, कालिदास, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्कॉलर्स हैं. तो उससे रिलेटेड किस तरीके का क्वेश्चन आ सकता है? हाउ डू यू हैव टू नो विच कैन बी ट्रैप? जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल पाणिनि वॉज अ कंटेम्प्रेरी टू एम्परर अशोक. तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि अशोक के टाइम पे पाणिनि था. इतना आप अशोक पढ़ते हो, यू नो, सर्टन थिंग्स यू हैव टू सॉल्व थ्रू कॉन्फिडेंस इन द एग्जामिनेशन. How many times you have read about Ashok? Have you ever come across कि Panini was a scholar? नहीं, तो आप 2 को हटाओगे ना. Why do you treat any fact in history as बोझ and try to brainstorm your mind in the wrong direction? Read like this, have confidence. You have read about Ashok. Ashok is a very important ruler. You've never come across Panini there. So why would he be contemporary? और उस टाइम पे स्क्रिप्ट फर्स्ट टाइम डिसाइफर हुई है, वर्क्स इतने लिखे ही नहीं गए थे। ऐसे भी तो सोचना है। उस टाइम पे अगर हम कंटेम्प्रेरी की बात कर रहे हैं, कौन से वर्क्स लिख दिए ऐसे, ठीक है। सो दिस इज हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू ओपन योर माइंड। इज दिस वेरी वेरी क्लियर? समझ में आ रही है? ये आपको लास्ट मिनट टिप्स हेल्प करेंगी, हाउ टू रीड एंड टैकल द क्वेश्चंस विद रिस्पेक्ट टू हिस्ट्री। डोंट हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ फ्योर, ठीक है। ये सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं एंड इम्पॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन ऑफ द लिटरेरी स्कॉलर्स, ठीक है। आगे बढ़ते हैं जहाँ पर मुझे ऐसा लगेगा विच माइट हेल्प यू टू सॉल्व सर्टन थिंग्स। दिस इज अबाउट कालिदास एंड हिज वर्क्स, ठीक है। ये कालिदास के जो 9 जेम्स हैं, नवरत्नास हैं, उनके वर्क्स हैं, दे आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। दे कैन आस्क यू दैट हु ऑफ द फॉलोइंग वर one of the Navratnas or not included in the Navratna list. This is to be done, I am telling you, 1 or 2 days before and not right now. आ गया तो ठीक है, नहीं आया तो बहुत अच्छा क्योंकि अगर आ गया तो बहुत प्रेशर होगा, ओहो आई डिड दिस स्टिल आई एम नॉट रिमेम्बरिंग इट। तो इससे अच्छा ना ही आए, क्योंकि वहां पर फिर वो दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा, तो यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू सॉल्व द क्वेश्चंस फर्दर। वो एक हो जाता है ना, दैट यू गेट इनटू दैट लूप, आई डिड इट बट आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिमेम्बर। तो वो लूप नहीं आना चाहिए। और अगर आ भी गया ना, डोंट टेक टेंशन। एक ही तो क्वेश्चन है लिटरेचर का, किसको बड़ा आता है लिटरेचर, ठीक है। सो आई थिंक दिस इज विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू लिटरेचर, तो आप इसको देख सकते हो। नाउ वी स्टार्ट द मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री questions, right? So we have through the part 1 understood certain very important aspects of culture, some aspects of literature, temple, etc. right? Dynasties भी cover हो गई हैं more or less, right? Which might come, which might not come, your luck or your bad luck, whichever is working on that day, right? So let's do modern Indian history की certain themes which are very very important from examination point of view, which are often asked by UPSC in its PYQs, right? तो सबसे पहले आता है आपका advent of Europeans, right? Of late in the last 5-6 years there have been questions coming from advent of Europeans. Now I have not picked up all the companies, but very very important themes which have been often asked, more emphasized by UPSC, starting from Portuguese to Dutch and English East India Company. अब आप बोलोगे मैम फ्रेंच भी important है, ऐसे तो फिर सब कुछ important है, right? But on the basis of PYQ scientific analysis is what I have picked up. Why? Because sometimes they have asked Dutch also as one of the statement, which is very difficult, right? So on this basis let's see the question. जैसे PYQs में क्या आया है, इंग्लिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी की फैक्ट्रीज। PYQs में क्या आया है, डच, इंग्लिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी एंड पोर्चुगीज, ठीक है, राइट? फिर इंग्लिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी, क्रॉप्स और कमोडिटीज ऑफ एक्सपोर्ट। सो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ PYQs these European companies have been picked up, right? So this is a very very important PYQ theme. Let's try to solve this question on Portuguese and make sense of the most important facts, right? Now here the approach will be, because you more or less know more about modern, the idea would be to give you more facts which are consolidated for last minute revision, right? So let us read the question. Francisco de Almeida, the first Portuguese viceroy of India, captured Goa in 1510. Bahadur Shah of Gujarat surrendered due to the Portuguese. Under the Carta system, all Asian ships sailing in the Indian Ocean were required to carry a pass issued by Portuguese authorities. अब मुझे बताओ इसमें से कौन सा statement you can eliminate? First, why? Very good. Because he did not capture Goa in 1510. Afonso de Albuquerque captured Goa with the help of Krishnadev Raya from the Bijapuri Sultan. Right? So one is wrong. On that basis, you eliminate one and you arrive at the answer. Now, Having said that, this is where I would like to draw your attention. अब ऐसा बहुत ज्ञान दिया जा रहा है ऑन द एक्सट्रीम वर्ड्स, ऑल जहाँ दिख जाए, नन जहाँ दिख जाए, नो जहाँ दिख जाए, ओनली जहाँ दिख जाए, तो यू हैव टू एलिमिनेट. प्लीज डोंट go only with that line of thought. I'm not saying that it is wrong, but also give credit to the statement and the fact. Right? Just because all दिखकर अगर आप mark करोगे तो ये question ही wrong हो जाएगा. And this is where again misreading can happen. What if this statement would have been here? तो जल्दी जल्दी में आप इसको right मार दोगे. होता क्या है? You are knowing the fact but you are marking it wrong. मन कुछ और बोल रहा है और कर आप कुछ और रहे हो. मेरे साथ भी हो जाता है जब मैं पढ़ाती हूँ, तो बोलना कुछ चाहती हूँ और बोल कुछ और देती हूँ. होता है. It's very normal. But then you have to be very very alert, right? ठीक है. So यहाँ पर लिखा क्या है? All Asian ships, and that was true. Whichever ship was crossing that Indian Ocean had to have that cartas or the license or the permit which was issued by Portuguese authorities in and around Indian Ocean coast. अगर ये trap आया that this was issued by Portuguese king, no. It was issued by the authorities in and around Indian coast, but in the name of Portuguese king. Clear? What is carta system? A license or a permit issued by the Portuguese authorities in and around Indian coast in the name of Portuguese king to allow the ships, not only Asian, any ship that was coming towards Indian Ocean and taking the route of Cape of Good Hope, because Portuguese had implemented what kind of policy? Blue water policy. और ये कार्टा सिस्टम उसी का एक पार्ट था. What is blue water policy? मतलब they are controlling the Indian Ocean or the route towards Indian Ocean, right? ठीक है. So these are the very very important facts surrounding Portuguese, starting from how and which of the Portuguese king or prince, promoted this discovery or scientific inventions, right? So it is attributed to Prince Henry the Navigator. He is not a king, he is the prince. He is given credit to have opened the first maritime school in Portugal, which led to exploration of seas. In 1418, सोचो कितने years लगे? 80 years to reach India through Cape of Good Hope. Next important thing which you need to know is Treaty of Tordesillas, 1494, that divided the Atlantic Ocean as a boundary between Spain and Portugal. Right? So the west of Atlantic Ocean was dominated by Spain and east of Atlantic Ocean was dominated by Portuguese for trade purpose. Right? First one to reach Cape of Good Hope was not Vasco da Gama. Yahi trap aayega. It was Bartolomeo Diaz. But he couldn't go beyond this. He retreated back. And the path he followed to reach to Cape of Good Hope was taken by Vasco da Gama, and he could go to Calicut. Therein he was helped by Gujarati trader Abdul Majid to reach Calicut. Right? ठीक है? Then with respect to the governors appointed by the Portuguese king for India, so King of Portugal Manuel I appointed Pedro Cabral to travel to India on the sea route established by Vasco da Gama. And the first trade relations that had been, supervised by or done was with the help of this Pedro Cabral. So the first factory that was set up was at Calicut. Right? ठीक है? He is credited as the first European to reach also Brazil through circumnavigation. Circumnavigation क्या होता है? पूरा 360 degree. Now coming to Portuguese company, 1500 में Portuguese king ordered for setting up of a company to specifically trade in the east. right? The name of the company was Casa de India, also known as House of India. So it was a state-controlled company. State-controlled, not private-owned, right? The first governor was Francisco de Almeida, who's given credit to have laid down the foundation for blue water policy. First, they have to make themselves stronger on that route, right? They did that through blue water policy, right? 1505 to 1509. An important battle that was fought under his governorship was Battle of Diu, which led to the defeat of joint naval forces of Gujarat and Egyptian armies, right? So that's how they emerged as very strong in terms of naval strength, right? Second governor was Alfonso de Albuquerque, 1505 to 1515. He acquired Goa with the help of Bijapuri Sultan, with the help of KDR from Bijapuri Sultan, right? During his governorship, abolishment of sati also happened. Next important governor was Nino da Cunha, 1529 to 38. During his reign, now this is important, capital of Portuguese was shifted from Cochin to Goa. तो वो स्ट्रैप यही देंगे कि अल्फोंसो डी एल्बुकर्क के टाइम पे गोवा वाज मेड कैपिटल. गोवा वाज वन, बट गोवा वाज मेड कैपिटल ड्यूरिंग द टाइम्स ऑफ नीनो डा कूना, राइट? Also, during his reign, Diu and Bessin were acquired from Bahadur Shah of Gujarat. ऐसे ही statements आती हैं. Regional rulers को pick कर कर they ask important events, right? Now, at that point of time, who was the Mughal emperor? Humayun. So, Diu or Bessin was acquired from Bahadur Shah of Gujarat against the Mughal emperor Humayun. These are the factories or settlements of Portuguese in India. अब इसको आपको learn नहीं करना है. कैसे करना है? That I am telling you. If you could see, Portuguese were mainly maximum, they were controlling which side? Western side. Why? Because यहीं पर तो उनका blue water policy था, right? ठीक है? Does that mean that they were not having any factory in Calcutta or Bengal region? They were having Hooghly and Chittagong. Eastern side में भी है, but maximum western side, right? ठीक है? Next thing, what you need to know is the first circumnavigation of the world was done by Ferdinand Magellan, who was he was the one who led the Spanish expedition. Now, why this is important? Because Magellan Strait आपने सुना होगा. Magellan Strait सुना है? नहीं, अभी मैपिंग का सेशन होगा, वहाँ पर देखना Magellan Strait कहाँ पर है. This Magellan Strait was known as Magellan Strait on the name of Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. ठीक है? अब आपको देखना है Magellan Strait कहाँ पर है, अगर आपको अभी तक नहीं पता है तो. Portuguese are also given credit to have introduced many kinds of new crops and fruits, mainly which kinds of crops and fruits which were not found in India, right? और वो आते थे न्यू वर्ल्ड से. न्यू वर्ल्ड क्या था? अमेरिकाज. अमेरिकाज क्या है? वेस्ट इंडीज, राइट? ठीक है? सो दीज वर न्यू वर्ल्ड, थोड़े ट्रॉपिकल मेडिटेरेनियन क्रॉप्स और फ्रूट्स इंट्रोड्यूस हुए थे, राइट? दिस इज द डिक्लाइन ऑफ Portuguese. Very, very important. 1661 में Bombay was given as dowry to the British king for marrying Portuguese princess. और जब ये Bombay उनको मिला, किसको मिला? British king को. He leased it to East India Company as a port. Bombay was leased by the British king to the East India Company for the operations. अब आप बोलेंगे मैम डाउरी, वो भी यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में, वो ऐसा लिखा होता है बुक में, वेडिंग गिफ्ट मिला था. ठीक है? डाउरी कुछ और होता है लीगल टर्म्स में, है ना? फाइनली दे एग्जिट गोवा, दमन एंड दीव थ्रू द ऑपरेशन विजय, राइट? दिस इज व्हाट यूपीएससी हैड आस्क्ड इन 2025. क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व कैसे करना है? दे अगेन वाज नॉट चेकिंग which fruits or crops were introduced by Portuguese. अगर आपको थोड़ा सा भी geography पता है, climatic regions पता हैं, so they are all belonging to same climatic region, Mediterranean, tropical, है ना. ऐसे आपको देखना है क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर कि क्या ये ट्रॉपिकल फ्रूट्स हैं, क्या ये मेडिटेरेनियन फ्रूट्स हैं. ऐसा थोड़ी आप लिस्ट लर्न करोगे. जब आपको पता चल गया कि पोर्चुगीज न्यू वर्ल्ड से लेकर आते थे, राइट, अब लिस्ट थोड़ी लर्न करोगे, इसी तरीके से करोगे. So yes, they belong to the same family and climate. All three were introduced by Portuguese, right? Also, it has to do with the 50 years of diplomatic relations celebrated by India and Portugal. So India and Portugal ki IR ki news had been asked from the perspective of modern Indian history, right? ठीक है. Next, Dutch. PYQ थीम है, क्वेश्चन देखते हैं, सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करते हैं. The Pulicat on the Coromandel coast served as the principal Dutch headquarter in India until the late 17th century. The Dutch established their earliest Indian factory at Masulipatam in 1605. At the Battle of Kolachal in 1741, the forces of Martand Varma of Travancore decisively defeated the Dutch in southern India. क्या लग रहा है, आप इसको क्या मारोगे? आंसर तो दिख गया आपको, 1, 2 and 3. All three are correct. Very very important Battle of Kolachal. NCERT में भी covered है, new NCERT में, right? Yes, Pulicat has served as the principal Dutch headquarters in India. Now coming to Dutch, the most important difference which you should know is that Dutch, unlike Portuguese, were the private company. And not only private, it was the first joint stock company of the world. The Dutch East India Company was the first joint stock company in the world. That means the company's shares were listed on the Dutch markets, stock exchange, right? तो Dutch कहाँ से आए हैं? Dutch कहाँ से आए हैं? हाँ, Netherlands से आए हैं, right? ठीक है? So this is one thing which you should know the difference. Now, again, very very important difference is that when you talk about Portuguese main center or control or aim was to protect Indian coast. Their main aim was to have trade with India, spread glory, spread Christianity. But Dutch's main interest was never India, but Southeast Asian islands, Indonesian Spice Islands. India was considered only as a station to reach to Southeast Asia. Clear? Right? ठीक है. अब let's do the most important things. ये मैंने आपको बता दिया कि Dutch East India Company was the oldest joint stock company in the world. The first Dutch man to reach the Indian subcontinent. He did not reach India first, but where did he land? Sumatra. Cornelis de Houtman. He was a Dutch man to reach Indian subcontinent. 1602 में बनी Dutch East India Company. First headquarter of Dutch in Indonesia was Batavia और India में Pulicat. ठीक है, right? फैक्ट्री पहली कौन सी बनी थी? मसूलीपट्टनम, बट कैपिटल और हेडक्वार्टर ऑफ डच वाज पुलिकट. राइट? क्लियर? पुलिकट को ही फोर्ट ऑफ गेल्द्रिया भी बोलते हैं, विच वाज मेड एज द कैपिटल ऑफ डच इन 1613. फोर्ट ऑफ गेल्द्रिया. राइट? दे ऑल्सो गॉट अ मिंटिंग राइट, कॉइन मिंटिंग राइट फ्रॉम गोलकोंडा. मतलब दे कुड इशू कॉइन्स, which was a very big right that was given, right? Very important battle, Battle of Bedera, 1759, where the Dutch and Mir Jafar joined together against English East India Company, but who eventually won? English East India Company, right? How did they exit? The exit happened through Anglo-Dutch treaty, where they sold off their establishments in India to English East India Company. Right? The final exit happened from Chinsura in Bengal. Right? तो आप ये देख सकते हो. I just want to tell you that 2025 में newspapers are publishing this Indian Army celebrating 284th anniversary of Battle of Kolachal. ठीक है, तो Battle of Kolachal न्यूज में भी है और NCERT में भी है. So why Indian Army is celebrating the Battle of Kolachal? Why? Significance समझो. This battle was considered as the first Indian victory over any European power. This is the significance. The Battle of Kolachal was fought between Indian Kingdom of Travancore. At that point of time, the ruler was Mantand Varma. He defeated the Dutch East India Company. That's why this was considered as the first Indian win or victory over army. First Indian army victory over European power. इसलिए Indian Army celebrates it on 10th of August. Right? ठीक है? Who was leading which forces? So Travancore forces were led by Martand Varma and his lieutenant Ramayan Dalava, whereas the Dutch forces were led by Admiral Eustachius de Lannoy. ठीक है? And Lannoy was taken as a prisoner of war, and afterwards this Lannoy only trained the Travancore's army and military. He became very important instrumental personality to modernize the the Travancore's army. Right? These are the major governors. Carpentier, he served as a Dutch governor general from 1623 to 27. These are few of the things which you can look into. Ambayona massacre is also very, very important. Ambayona कहाँ है? Indonesia में है. यहाँ पर Dutch forces actually, targeted English, Portuguese, Japanese merchants, traders in Indonesia. Ambayona massacre Indonesia में हुआ है, India में नहीं हुआ है. Right? These are the Dutch factories. अगर आप देखो, इनका main focus कहाँ है? East. क्यों? Indonesia. Portuguese का था इस side. Does that mean that they were not having anything in Calcutta or Bengal? They were. Chinsura. Right? ठीक है? Fort of Gildria, Pulicat. Pulicat, administrative capital. But first factory, Masulipatam. Right? English East India Company. At the Battle of Swali in 1612, English defeated the Portuguese near Surat. Battle of Bedera was fought between English and French. ये तो है ही गलत. The first English factory in Eastern India was established at Hooghly in 1651. Sir Thomas Roe arrived at the court of Jahangir as a credited ambassador of King James I. कौन सी statement wrong है? 2 wrong है. एक ही option है 1, 3 and 4. Rest of the options are right. मतलब statements are right. ठीक है? Right? These are the important prelims facts. Now how to remember this? सबसे पहले जो पता है आपको वो तो मैं नहीं repeat कर रही हूँ. What I want to emphasize is how will you remember that who came first and what did he get, right? So from 1608-09 onwards we see coming up of English generals or sailors to the court of Jahangir, right? ठीक है. अब हमें करना कैसे है? सबसे पहले कौन आया? हॉकिंस आया. हॉकिंस, hawk. What is a hawk? A bird which can see from very far off. Hawk's eye क्या होती है? There is this phrase or expression, hawk's eye, which can see things from very far off place, right? So हॉकिंस सबसे पहले क्या देखेगा? वो आइडेंटिफाई करेगा कि इंग्लिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को कहाँ पर फैक्ट्री बनानी है. So he saw and he chose सूरत to be set up as the first English factory, but he did not get the permission. क्यों? वो तो उड़ रहा था. He was flying. See, he couldn't get the permission, right? Second, who came? Captain Thomas Best. अब बेस्ट को क्या मिलेगा? उसको अपने आप को जताना पड़ेगा that he is powerful than the Portuguese. So Battle of Swali will be fought under him and they will defeat the Portuguese at Surat. Ab now with this victory, Jahangir will get impressed and he will give permission to Best to set up factory at Surat. क्योंकि वो बेस्ट है तो उसको सूरत में फैक्ट्री इस्टेब्लिश करने की परमिशन मिल गई, राइट। हॉकिंस हो गया, थॉमस बेस्ट हो गया, राइट। फिर सर थॉमस रो मीन्स रोना, बहुत रोया, मेरे को और भी दो, मुझे और चीज़ें चाहिए आपसे, आई वॉन्ट मोर, ठीक है। तो फिर उसको क्या मिला, उस जहांगीर गेव हिम रॉयल फरमान टू सेट अप एंड एस्टैब्लिश फैक्ट्रीज इन ऑल द मुगल कंट्रोल टेरिटरीज। जो रोता है उसी को ज़्यादा मिलता है ना, ठीक है। तो रो को ये परमिशन मिल गई टू सेट अप फैक्ट्रीज इन ऑल मुगल कंट्रोल टेरिटरीज, राइट। फिर आया फ्रांसिस डे ने बनाया डे ऑफ ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी, राइट। अब मुगल कंट्रोल टेरिटरीज में तो दे हैव ऑलरेडी गॉट द परमिशन। नाउ व्हाट अबाउट साउथ वाज एन इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया फॉर ट्रेड, राइट। सो फ्रांसिस डे ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी का तब बनेगा जब उसको मेड्रास में फोर्ट ऑफ सेंट जॉर्ज बनाने की परमिशन दी जाएगी, राइट। एंड दिस लोकल रूलर ऑफ मेड्रास, which is also the feudatory of Vijayanagar, will give Francis Day permission to set up factory at Madras, which will be converted into Fort of St. George, right. Then 1651 में हुगली में Shah Shuja, the governor of Bengal, will give permission to set up factory at Hooghly, right. 1691 में Aurangzeb will give farman to exempt EIC to pay custom duties in Bengal, right. 1698 में EIC will get the permission of collecting zamindari or become zamindari or have the zamindari rights over 3 villages, Sultanati, Govindpur and Kalikat, which will be converted later on as a fort of William, Calcutta, राइट और इसमें जॉब चार्नक का ह्यूज रोल था, राइट, ठीक है। सो दिस इज व्हाट यू शुड नो। गोल्डन फरमान पता होना चाहिए फारूक सियार, विच बिकेम अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रीजन फॉर द मिस यूज ऑफ दस्तक्स, बिकॉज थ्रू गोल्डन फरमान ऑफ फारूक सियार दे गॉट द राइट टू इशू दस्तक्स। व्हाट आर दस्तक्स? लाइसेंस और अ परमिट to have duty-free trade in all Mughal controlled territories. But this dastak was given for only official trade. That means the products which the EIC was dealing in. But this was misused by EIC officials, wherein they issued dastak also for private trade. And they also sold off this dastak to other European traders, right, which did not go down well with the Bengal Nawab. ठीक है, इसलिए बैटल ऑफ प्लासी एंड बक्सर फाइनली हुआ। क्लियर? तो ये आप कर सकते हो। नेक्स्ट, तो इंग्लिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी अगर हम देखें, क्वेश्चन आया है फैक्ट्रीज पे भी, बरोज, चिकाकोल, त्रिचनपुली। चिकाकोल, श्रीकाकुलम, मॉडर्न डे, known for muslin or a cloth of cotton, right? अब अगर आप फैक्ट्रीज देखो, बरोज, सूरत, बॉम्बे, मेड्रास, मछलीपट्टनम, चिकाकोल, त्रिचनपल्ली, ये नहीं है, राइट? चिकाकोल तो आप नहीं सुनते हो और पढ़ते हो, इसी गट फीलिंग के साथ मार्क करना होता है। मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया है दैट यू हैव टू हैव दैट कॉन्फिडेंस दैट इफ यू नॉट कम अक्रॉस दैट मीन्स इट्स नॉट ट्रू, राइट? इट्स नॉट ट्रू देन। तो उसी तरीके से आप सॉल्व करोगे, राइट? So our advent of Europeans is finished. Now let's come to 1857 mutiny. Although in the last 10 years there has not been a single question, but this time I feel that this might be asked. Right? Kyun? Why? 2027 we'll enter next year. How many years for 1857 to 2027? 150, कितने ईयर्स होते हैं? 250, 350, सी सैट भी है आपका। ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है, अगर इस साल नहीं तो नेक्स्ट ईयर तो आएगा, बट आई सो विश दैट दिस इज आस्क्ड दिस ईयर because it's been a very neglected theme but very very important. There have been questions before 2013, 11, 12, you know, on this theme, right? So let's very quickly do the most important things which you might not be knowing, right? So the question is on the laws and proclamations which are associated with the revolt of 1857, right? The General Service Enlistment Act of 1856 required new recruits to the Bengal Army to serve overseas if ordered. The Caste Disabilities Removal Act of 1850 enabled Hindu converts to Christianity to retain their right of inheritance. Azamgarh Proclamation of 1857 was issued in the name of Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar himself. Now this Azamgarh Proclamation of 1857 is already covered in your NCERT, so very very important, right? कुछ भी पता है इनके बारे में? मैं यहाँ explain कर दूँ. नहीं पता? Shall I explain each and everything? Okay, no issues. General Service Enlistment Act. By the very name of it, this act means service enlistment. What is enlistment? Laying down, listing. तो इसमें सर्विस या रोल कॉल्स या नेम आता था कि आपको यहाँ सर्व करना है. And it was mandatory if anyone's name in the list is coming to serve abroad, he has to go. This was seen as an attack on the socio-religious, profile of the people. Why? Because at that point of time, crossing the sea meant losing the caste status, right? The soldier would not have been able to do his rituals properly. So whenever he used to get back or go back from the foreign posting, he was not looked in the right way by the villagers or his family members. Isliye, this act basically attacked the social profile of the Indian soldiers, right? So General Service Enlistment Act, service enlistment, service unko karni padegi if ordered overseas, right? Now what does Caste Disabilities Removal Act of 1850 means, right? Now this act is also known as Lex Loci Act. This act is also known as Lex Loci Act. Now what does this act provide for? So at that point of time in Hinduism, if anyone is getting converted, if any male son is getting converted to any other religion, specifically Christianity, or giving away his Hindu religion, will be debarred from inheriting the property, parental or ancestral property, right? But what did this act do? This act made caste or religion no more a disability. इसको ऐसे ही learn करोगे जैसे मैं बोल रही हूँ. This act now made caste or religion no more a disability to get right of inheritance. So if anyone is getting converted to Christianity, he would not be debarred from getting the right over ancestral or parental property. This is also known as Lex Loci Act, right? Now what is this Azamgarh Proclamation of 1857? Azamgarh Proclamation was issued not by the Bahadur Shah Zafar himself, but his grandson. It was basically to urge or request the different sections of Indians to support Bahadur Shah rule at that point of time, right? And how would they do that? That was what was laid down. And if anyone will not be cooperating, then there were certain punishments laid down. Okay? So this was with respect to Azamgarh Proclamation. So Azamgarh Proclamation karte hain. Why? Because this is given in your NCERT. As I told you, it was not authored by Bahadur Shah Zafar, but Firoz Shah, the grandson of Bahadur Shah Zafar, right? This was also known as Indian Rebel Manifesto. Indian Rebel Manifesto, right? Ab jo sepoys the, they had declared Bahadur Shah Zafar as the Emperor of India again, right? And they were marching towards Delhi. May 10th को क्या हुआ था? म्यूटनी ओपन हो गई थी. मंगल पांडे had killed the English officers, right, on the grounds of greased cartridge issue. Royal Enfield rifles were coated with animal fat, which hurted the sentiments of both Hindus and Muslims. That became the biggest reason, immediate reason for the mutiny to happen, right? So the manifesto provided a detailed list of the grievances of different sections of society against the colonial rule. This was an appeal to landlords, merchants, public servants, artisans, and people of different religion to accept Badshahi government. And if warnings were made that if anyone who accepts colonial rule instead, even after the circulation of this Azamgarh proclamation, his property will be confiscated, his family will be imprisoned, as well as could be sentenced to death. This was what was laid down in Azamgarh proclamation. It was an order given to different sections of Indians to accept Mughal rule again, right? Okay. These are different centers of revolt, led by which ruler, against which English commander general, ये भी आ सकता है. तो इसलिए इसको रिवाइज करना है आपको, राइट? क्लियर? Then Congress, pre-Congress political associations, yes, questions do come. Factual section hai, right? There has already been a question in 2018 on Radhakant Deb, whether he was the first president of British Indian Association. तो इसका मतलब British Indian Association important है. Similarly, Madras Mahajan Sabha. Similarly, Indian Association. This was what was asked by UPSC in 2018, right? So we have created this question on the basis of important pre-Congress associations. Radhakant Deb was the first president of British Indian Association. Already UPSC ये fact पूछ चुका है, right? Justice M.G. Ranade was a leading figure of Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Madras Mahajan Sabha was founded by Firoz Shah Mehta. Firoz Shah Mehta और Madras Mahajan Sabha big no है, right? तो 3 eliminate कर answer आ रहा है. So sometimes you have to read the organization and the personality. I'm not saying that it will always work, but yes, Firoz Shah Mehta, तो नाम से ही लग रहा है that he will not be the ones who will be founding the Madras Mahajan Sabha. ठीक है? तो इस तरीके से questions को holistically देखना है, right? These are the important pre-Congress associations which you can revise from the last minute perspective. ठीक है? आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. Very very important pre-Congress association, Indian National Congress Conference. Indian National Conference is associated with Surendranath Banerjee. Surendranath Banerjee, because he was part of Indian National Conference, who was also having this session during the time of the first session of the Congress. That's why Surendranath Banerjee was not part of the first session of the Indian National Congress. But later on, this Indian National Conference merged with Indian National Congress. So this fact has already been asked by UPSC in the previous questions, that Surendranath Banerjee attended the first session of the Congress. Right? ठीक है? तो यही चीज़ हम चेक कर रहे हैं. इंडियन नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस वाज कन्वीन्ड इन कैलकाटा in 1883 by Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose. Yes. A second session of conference held in 1885 in Calcutta around the same time as the founding session of Indian National Congress at Bombay. Yes. The Indian National Conference was eventually merged into the Indian National Congress. This is also right. So all three are correct. Right? This has already been asked, तो इसलिए important है. These are the most important pre-Congress associations, right? तो ये आप एक बारी इसको go through कर सकते हो. ठीक है? Factual है, इसमें कुछ समझाने का नहीं है. I'm just going ahead, right? Then Indian National Congress moderate phase, right? Who are moderates? They are known as early nationalists. They are considered to be the founders of the Indian National Congress. Why were they known as moderates? Yes. Why were they known as moderates? Huh? Because of their methods. What kind of methods? Moderate methods. क्या है? Moderate क्यों बोलते हैं उनको? They believed in constitutional methods. What are constitutional methods? Constitutional methods is which has been prescribed or allowed by law of the land, that is Britishers, which are not extra constitutional. और वो कौन से मेथड्स हैं? 3P मेथड, प्रेयर, पिटिशन एंड पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट, राइट. ऑन द अदर हैंड एक्सट्रीमिस्ट के क्या है? एक्स्ट्रा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मेथड. एक्स्ट्रा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मतलब विच इज नॉट अलाउड बाय द ब्रिटिशर्स, सो दे विल सी रिप्रेशन. ठीक है. माय क्वेश्चन टू यू इज पैसिव रेजिस्टेंस मॉडरेट मेथड है या एक्सट्रीमिस्ट मेथड है? व्हाट इज पैसिव रेजिस्टेंस? व्हाट इज पैसिव रेजिस्टेंस? रेजिस्ट करना लॉस को. यहाँ पर पैसिव का क्या मतलब है? व्हाट डज पैसिव हियर मीन्स? डज इट मीन नॉन वायलेंस या नॉन वायलेंट को अडियर कर या otherwise? Come on. नॉन वायलेंस नहीं. पैसिव मतलब डायरेक्ट एक्शन नहीं लेंगे. ठीक है. वायलेंट नहीं होंगे. बेसिकली नॉन वायलेंट है, वायलेंट नहीं है. रेजिस्ट करेंगे, मगर ये जो रेजिस्टेंस है ये एक्सट्रीमिस्ट्स करते हैं, मॉडरेट्स नहीं. मॉडरेट्स के ये हैं. यहाँ पर कहीं पर पैसिव रेजिस्टेंस नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि डिफरेंशिएटिंग फैक्टर है. पैसिव रेजिस्टेंस में मासेस भी इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं, जबकि मॉडरेट्स डज नॉट बिलीव इन मास मोबिलाइजेशन. That was one of the reasons why Surat split happened on the issue of extension of agitation towards Bengal partition. Right? ठीक है. So this is important. Now coming to early demands of the moderates. The moderates demanded the abolition of Indian civil services examination as a means of breaking British monopoly. उन्होंने तो simultaneous examination की बात करी थी. Right? The one is wrong. Dada Bhai Naroji is in the news because of his birth anniversary. He elaborated his drain of wealth theory in his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. This is correct, right? Then, kahan gaya? Indian Councils Act 1892 conceded the principle of indirect election to the Imperial Legislative Council. Indirect था, मतलब through nomination था, direct नहीं था. तो 2 and 3 is correct, 1 is wrong. ठीक है, right? नेक्स्ट 1892 काउंसिल्स एक्ट, इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन. ठीक है. और क्या किया उसने? उसने नॉन ऑफिशियल मेंबर्स की का नंबर इंक्रीज कर दिया. व्हाट इज नॉन ऑफिशियल? दैट मीन्स इंडियंस हु वर इंक्लूडेड इन द काउंसिल्स, द वंस हु वर नॉमिनेटेड बाय द ब्रिटिशर्स इन द काउंसिल्स. Those who were not officials, official यहाँ पर EIC के थे या ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट के थे, राइट? ठीक है. तो नॉन ऑफिशियल कौन होंगे? जो ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट के नहीं होंगे, जिनको नॉमिनेशन के थ्रू जगह दी जाएगी, राइट? इलेक्शन था मगर डायरेक्ट नहीं था, इनडायरेक्ट था. इनडायरेक्ट या मेंट नॉमिनेशन. वॉज द वर्ड इलेक्शन यूज्ड इन द एक्ट? नो, राइट? नेक्स्ट वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थीम 2018 में, इन द ट्रैप दे हैड गिवन सर्वेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया सोसाइटी. दे हैड गिवन दिस ट्रैप सर्वेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया सोसाइटी, राइट? One second. राइट? तो अब ये सर्वेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया से कौन रिलेटेड है? गोपाल कृष्ण गोखले. इसीलिए दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? तो Gopal Krishna Gokhale founded the Servants of India Society at Pune. Members took a vow not to seek any government office while in the service of society. Srinivas Shastri succeeded Gokhale as the president of the society. All three are correct. This you might not be knowing, that those who were members of this organization had taken a vow not to seek any government office while they were part of the Servants of India Society. Right? That means they will not take part in any office, right? ठीक है. Next, Gopal Krishna Gokhale is very very important. He is also the president of INC in 1905 Banaras session. किस event से related है? Bengal partition से. So when Bengal was partitioned, तब ये हुआ या उससे पहले हुआ? बंगाल पार्टीशन से पहले बनारस सेशन हुआ है या उसके बाद हुआ है? पहले हुआ है. बंगाल पार्टीशन 1905 में हुआ है, 1906 में हुआ है. हाँ, यहीं तो ट्रैप होते हो आप. दिस इज वेयर यू गेट ट्रैप. ये तो मैंने बस आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछा है. देर आर टू significant years, 1905 and 1906, right? 1905 was the year when the partition of Bengal happened. 16th October 1905, right? और फिर एंटी पार्टीशन मूवमेंट हुआ. अब उसको कैसे, किस प्रिंसिपल पे लीड करेंगे, दैट डिसीजन वाज टेकन इन बनारस सेशन अंडर गोपाल कृष्ण गोखले, राइट? सो टू मेथड्स वर लेड डाउन, बॉयकॉट एंड स्वराज, राइट? बॉयकॉट एंड स्वराज या बॉयकॉट और स्वदेशी? बॉयकॉट एंड स्वदेशी, ठीक है. स्वराज, national education, boycott, Swadeshi became methods during Dada Bhai Naroji presidency of Congress session of 1906 Calcutta. Clear? Swadeshi and boycott, Banaras session Gokhale, moderate. Dada Bhai Naroji 1906 Calcutta session, Swaraj, national education, boycott and Swadeshi. राइट? तो ये फैक्ट्स है सराउंडिंग गोपाल कृष्ण गोखले एज वेल एज सर्वेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया सोसाइटी. प्लीज रिमेंबर इट बिकॉज दिस पर्सनैलिटी इज ऑल्सो वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ही इज ऑल्सो एसोसिएटेड विद सार्वजनिक सभा. ही इज ऑल्सो started this English weekly newspaper called Hitavad. Now Hitavad is not giving you the feel and vibe that it is English weekly newspaper. ठीक है? It's also known as People's Paper. Who's associated? Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Now coming to Lal-Bal-Pal. So there has been a question on personality based like this. So we are going to discuss these three personalities: Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal and Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, right? The trio led the extremist faction at the Surat split. Surat split happened in 1907. Split was between moderates and extremists and they led it, right? Bal Gangadhar Tilak founded the All India Home Rule League at Madras. Madras mein Annie Besant is associated with Madras. So 2 is wrong. Lala Lajpat Rai authored Unhappy India. Ab 2 is wrong. The only option left is 1 and 3. So yes, Lala Lajpat Rai authored Unhappy India, right? He was one of the parts of the trio. Tilak's Home Rule League, Belgaum, Karnataka. Annie Besant's Home Rule League, Adyar, Madras. Which was formed first? Tilak's Home Rule League और फिर Annie Besant की लीग आई है. Both moderates and extremists participated in the Home Rule League, right? Annie Besant was arrested in June 1917, and after the issue of Montague statement, Annie Besant withdrew the Home Rule League movement, right? ठीक है? और वो जो Montague statement था वो क्या था? That now they are going to increase the associations of Indians in administration and there would be gradual development of self-governing institutions which will eventually develop into responsible गवर्नमेंट, राइट? ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, लाला लाजपत राय. He was popularly known as Punjab Kesari. Yes. He founded the Servants of India Society. No. Gopal Krishna Gokhale. ठीक है. तो 2 is wrong. तो 1 and 3 is the answer. He presided the Calcutta Special Session of INC in 1920, which is associated with non-cooperation movement. Lala Lajpat Rai Special Session, non-cooperation movement, very very important. और फिर Calcutta Session था, annual session of non-cooperation movement, right? सूरत Session, who was the president? राज बिहारी घोष. वो बोस दे देंगे और आपको दिखाई नहीं देगा घोष की तरह, राइट? तो घोष है, बोस नहीं है. बोस गदर पार्टी से रिलेटेड है, रेवोल्यूशनरी नेशनलिस्ट. ही इज मॉडरेट, राइट? ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, बाल गंगाधर तिलक. There was this option given on Bal Gangadhar Tilak when a question came on Gandhiji, who has written songs from prison, right? So Bal Gangadhar Tilak is also very important personality asked by UPSC in the options. So Tilak, he launched the newspapers Kesari in Marathi and Bharata in English from Pune. He founded Servants of India Society at Pune. तो 2 wrong है, तो 1 and 3 आंसर है. तो ये Servants of India Society बहुत important है. ऐसे UPSC ने बहुत ट्रैप्स बनाए हैं, राइट? सो यस, केसरी इन मराठी एंड महारथा इन इंग्लिश. ठीक है. फिलोसफिकल वर्क गीता रहस्य वॉज कंपोज ड्यूरिंग हिज इम्प्रिजनमेंट एट मंडाले. अब ये क्यों लर्न करना है? जैसे ये क्वेश्चन आया सॉन्ग फ्रॉम प्रिजन, गांधी जी कंपोज्ड इट व्हाइल ही वाज देयर इन येरावाड़ा जेल. सिमिलरली गीता रहस्य वॉज कंपोज्ड बाय Bal Gangadhar Tilak while he was in jail in Mandale, not Andaman. Mandale बर्मा में है, वो दे देंगे अंडमान में जेल करा था उनको. ये भी एक ट्रैप है which might be given to you, right? ठीक है. So these are few things which you can revise, right? Very very important prelims facts. Age of consent bill associated with Tilak. Did he oppose the age of consent bill or was he in favor of age of consent? He opposed. Why? Although he was against child marriage, but he opposed simply because that age of consent was coming from the Britishers. He opposed the bill कि जो भी social reforms होंगे, changes होंगे, that should come from Indians. Why the Britishers are leading this? That's why he opposed it. It did not mean that he encouraged a child marriage. Clear? ठीक है. तो this is also important. ये age of consent किससे related है? Basically, age of consent deals with reducing the marriageable age of girls from 10 to 12 years. Right? ठीक है. There was this Rukma Bai case who renewed the debate over age of consent. But the reason why age of consent bill was given this highlight and importance was on the basis of the death of Fulmani Dasi in 1889. That created the rage and passage of this bill to come. Right? ठीक है. Behramji M. Malabari also was given credit to his efforts to lead towards the passage of age of consent. Tilak opposed it. Age of Consent Act was signed in 1891. Who was the Governor General? Lansdowne. So certain facts like these are here, right? Aurobindo Ghosh. He edited the English nationalist newspaper Bande Mataram. He was an accused in the Alipur bomb case of 1908. He presided over the session of Indian National Congress in 1907. Did he preside? No. Who presided? Raj Bihari Ghosh. So 1 and 2 is right, 3 is wrong. Right? Aurobindo Ghosh भी दिया हुआ है ऑप्शन में. Aurobindo Ghosh भी important है. Organizations, facts, ठीक है. So he attended the Congress sessions at Banaras and Calcutta. He is the one, he never presided any session. औरबिंदो घोष नेवर प्रिसाइडेड एनी सेशन. तो ये भी एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, विच ऑल पर्सनैलिटीज डिड नॉट प्रिसाइड एनी कांग्रेस सेशन. ठीक है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल बाल गंगाधर तिलक नेवर प्रिसाइडेड, औरबिंदो घोष नेवर प्रिसाइडेड. तो ये जो एक्सट्रीमिस्ट ट्रायो है ना, लाल बाल पाल, इन्होंने नहीं किया, औरबिंदो घोष ने नहीं किया, भगत सिंह ने नहीं किया. महात्मा गांधी 1 सेशन, बेलगांव सेशन, राइट. सो यू कैन डू द बुक्स, बिकॉज जो रेवोल्यूशनरी नेशनलिस्ट और एक्सट्रीमिस्ट हैं, देयर वर्क्स आर इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट. सूरत सेशन, राजबिहारी घोष हमने कर लिया है. नाउ कमिंग टू इंपीरियल दरबार्स और INC सेशंस, राइट. Again, this is one theme which is not been asked recently, but high probability that they might ask you again. They have been asked, this theme has been asked previously by UPSC. ठीक है. So 1877, Delhi Darbar held under Lord Lytton. What was the distinguishing feature? 1903 दरबार, डायमंड जुबली तो नहीं हुई थी. डायमंड जुबली कब होती है? 60 years में. क्वीन कब कॉरोनेट हुई थी? मतलब बेसिकली 1890s में डायमंड जुबली मतलब थी, 1903 में नहीं थी. तो सेकंड इज रॉन्ग, राइट. 1911 दिल्ली दरबार, किंग जॉर्ज V अनाउंस द ट्रांसफर ऑफ कैपिटल फ्रॉम कैलकाटा टू दिल्ली. यस. तो 1 and 3 आर राइट, ओनली 2 इज द आंसर. 1903 इज रॉन्ग, राइट. तो दिल्ली दरबार में these are the things which happened. 1877 Delhi Darbar, why this is important? Because Queen Victoria was proclaimed as the Empress of India and she took this title Kaisar Hind at this Darbar, right? And also 1877 में famine आए थे, very deadly famines, और उसके बावजूद this all was happening, right? 1903 is celebrating the succession of King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra as Empress and not Queen Victoria ka Diamond Jubilee, right? 1911 is very, very important because here the event was celebrated to commemorate the coronation of King George V and Queen Mary. Here, capital of India was shifted from Calcutta to Delhi. Partition of Bengal was cancelled, annulled or taken back as per the original plan in 1911 दरबार, राइट. किसके टाइम पे हुआ? लॉर्ड हार्डिंग के टाइम पे, राइट. देन कांग्रेस सेशंस, बनारस सेशन, गोखले condemned the partition of Bengal, yes. Calcutta session, Lala Lajpat Rai ratified the NCM, yes. Tripuri session, Subhash Chandra Bose, did he adopt the Quit India resolution? No. So 3 is wrong, 1 and 2 are right. Quit India resolution, Gowalia Tank, Bombay. It was formally ratified under Gandhi ji's direction. ठीक है, right? 1942. इसको August resolution भी बोलते हैं, right? What was part of this declaration? कि government servants will not resign but they will proclaim loyalty to the Indian National Congress. Soldiers will be with the army but they will refrain from using any or firing on the Indians. Students will leave studies if they are confident that they will pass the examination whenever exam would happen. Peasants, if zamindars are pro-government, then do not pay rent, otherwise pay rent. Right? So these were certain kind of instructions given in the do or die resolution. Right? Tripuri session, किसके लिए famous था? Who presided it? Subhash Chandra Bose. But Subhash Chandra Bose presidentship was taken as a moral defeat by the Gandhi ji. Why? Because he wanted Patabi Sitaramaiah to become the president. But he was not chosen as a president. Who was chosen? Subhash Chandra Bose. So this was seen as a moral defeat, right? So Patabi Sitaramaiah is important, right? He served as the president of INC session at Jaipur? Yes. Okay. He authored official history of the Indian National Congress? Yes. He led the Quit India movement from Andhra region from Mandanapalle? No. He is not associated with this. Mandanapalle is associated with the Rabindranath Tagore and writing of national anthem Jan Gan Man. Right? So third is wrong. Third has already been asked by UPSC in its PYQ. Right? So this can be asked, the foreigners who have presided the Congress sessions. Again, such questions have been asked by UPSC in the PYQs before. This is again an expected theme which you can revise or target. ठीक है? तो ये कुछ foreigners के नाम हैं, those who have presided the Congress sessions, right? ठीक है? First woman president, first English president, first foreign president, first Indian women president. Such facts are very, very important, right? So I think time is going to end. There is another class. So what we'll do is, either I'll record the class, after this. We will not have the session. A recording could be given to you on the YouTube channel, and that's how we can finish it off, right? Of the questions which are left. Or else the questions are already there. You can just revise and go through it, right? Jo bhi lagega convenient, we can have it, right, on the basis of how the time allows us. Very, very important. Maximum what I would do is that I'll record the remaining questions and post it on the YouTube, right? Okay. Very, very important questions, very, very important themes for last minute revision. It will really help you, right? And just in case you have any doubt, I've already mentioned the mail ID. You can all mail for the last minute tips, for the last minute motivation also, for any last minute doubts or clarification on Vision IAS ID, right? And I have also told you that Vision IAS also provides this support, psychological support in these days for the students, right? So you can just avail by logging in the website or calling the number, right? So all the best, guys. Have a nice day and wish you all the very best. I hope that you are doing the right things, which you all are, right? Just be confident. Don't lose your heart, right? अच्छे से करो, जितना भी revise हो रहा है, go with full confidence. If you have never come across anything which seems important, then that means it's not true, right? Have faith. While solving the questions, have faith, right? You have revised many important things. And you will again revise in the last days, right? So I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly. Success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation our student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance, and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m, 30th March at 8 a.m. and 7th April at 11 a.m. At GTP Nagar, 17th March at 8 a.m. and 25th March at 6 p.m. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers.
यूपीएससी 2027 का लक्ष्य जितना बड़ा है उसे पाने की योजना भी उतनी ही स्पष्ट और संगठित होनी चाहिए। विजन आईएएस लेकर आया है क्लासरूम फाउंडेशन कोर्स 2027 के 12 से 14 महीनों का एक ऐसा सुव्यवस्थित कार्यक्रम है जहां आपकी तैयारी एक अनुशासित और वैज्ञानिक ढांचे में आगे बढ़ती है। यहाँ क्लासरूम लर्निंग के साथ साथ आपको मिलता है लाइव और रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस का विकल्प, जिसे आप अपने व्यक्तिगत ऑनलाइन पोर्टल के माध्यम से कभी भी और कहीं भी एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। तैयारी के सफर को और भी प्रभावी बनाती है हमारी व्यक्तिगत क्लासरूम मेंटरिंग। हमारे एक्सपर्ट मेंटर्स नियमित मार्गदर्शन और स्मार्ट स्टडी मैनेजमेंट के जरिए आपकी तैयारी को एक सही दिशा और गति प्रदान करते हैं। शैक्षणिक दृष्टिकोण से देखें तो ये कोर्स मुख्य परीक्षा के सामान्य अध्ययन के चारों प्रश्न पत्रों, सीसेट और निबंध का व्यापक कवरेज सुनिश्चित करता है। विषयों की समसामयिक समझ विकसित करने के लिए मासिक करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन और रिवीजन क्लासेस के साथ साथ पीटी 365 और मेंस 365 की विशेष कक्षाएं भी इस कार्यक्रम का अनिवार्य हिस्सा हैं, ताकि स्टैटिक और करंट अफेयर्स के बीच एक सटीक संतुलन बना रहे। तैयारी की गहराई मापने के लिए निरंतर अभ्यास अनिवार्य है, इसलिए डेली असाइनमेंट और साप्ताहिक मिनी टेस्ट के साथ साथ मासिक प्रीलिम्स और मेंस टेस्ट के माध्यम से आपकी प्रगति का निरंतर आकलन किया जाता है। इस कार्यक्रम की शक्ति है हमारी प्रतिष्ठित ऑल इंडिया टेस्ट सीरीज, जिसमें प्रीलिम्स के 35, मेंस के 30, सीसेट के 25 और निबंध के 5 टेस्ट का समावेश है। साथ ही संधान पोर्टल पर 25,000 से अधिक प्रश्नों का विशाल संग्रह आपके अभ्यास और विश्लेषण को और भी सुदृढ़ बनाता है। अब समय है अपनी मेहनत को एक मजबूत, संरचित और निरंतर प्रक्रिया में ढालने का। विजन आईएएस के साथ जुड़े और यूपीएससी 2027 की अपनी सफलता की राह को एक स्पष्ट दिशा दें।
UPSC Prelims is not the destination, it's the first crucial step, and clearing this step requires more than hard work. It demands the right strategy. Vision IAS All India GS Prelims Test Series 2027 with Sandhan is designed to give you that edge from the very beginning. With 35 structured tests, build your journey from fundamentals to full-length tests, ensuring clear, step-by-step progression. With Sandhan, personalized practice, you get more than 25,000 questions targeting your weak areas. Every test becomes a step toward measurable improvement. With smart analysis plus mentoring gain, get precise insights into your mistakes and refine your strategy with expert guidance. With quick revision material, QRM, focus on revising what truly matters exactly when you need it the most. Starting from 19th April, ensure you don't just attempt Prelims 2027, you prepare to clear it. To register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. All India GS Mains Test Series and Mentoring Program 2027, not just a test series, a system designed to improve how you write. For Mains 2027, what matters is not how much you know, but how effectively you present it on paper. And that's exactly what this program builds. Write regularly, get evaluated with precision, understand your mistakes, improve with clear mentorship. So with every test, your answers become more structured, more relevant, more impactful. This is where preparation turns into performance. Start early, improve consistently. Be ready for Mains 2027. To know more, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Are you ready to face prelims head-on? Because prelims is not just about knowledge, it's about performance under pressure. That's where Abhyas, the All India Prelims, GS plus CSAT mock test comes in. Designed as a true exam simulation, Abhyas recreates the real UPSC. Prelims experience the same pattern, the same time constraints and the same intensity. It places you in a national arena, competing with aspirants across India, backed by an all-India ranking that reveals your true standing. Attempted by 1 in 3 top 50 rankers, Abhyas has become a trusted benchmark for serious aspirants. With detailed post-test analysis, live discussions and complete syllabus coverage in both English and Hindi, it ensures your preparation is not just extensive but exam-ready. 3 full-length offline simulations will be conducted across 100+ cities on 5th April, 19th April and 10th May. From 9:30 am to 11:30 am for General Studies, that is paper 1, and 2:30 pm to 4:30 pm for CSAT, that's paper 2. Challenge your preparation, test your performance. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly: success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier with the kind of foundation our student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance, and the right